host. Cthulhu's Prodigy coming to you live and direct from the stack. Smoke me out, fam, with that dank shit on my left. Oldest ninja in the world, old ninja.
Sometimes you just gotta set a motherfucker on fire. So.
God damn. On my far right, engineering on the ones and twos, choking people out on the threes and fours, Kronos.
I got no love for dead, racist, sexist, opioid addicts. Fuck them.
Last but not least, we got your boy Blue.
First, I used to sound like crap.
But now I sound sexy as hell.
Blue, you've been killing it with your intros, goddammit. You set these up well. God damn.
Hopefully that worked. I wasn't sure if that was going to work or not.
It did work.
It did. It did. Very smooth, motherfucker. All right, Kronos, you got...
My old-ass mic and my new one.
Kronos, you got some stats for us, goddammit.
That I do. Thank you to XX Pro Reaps XX. Jesus Christ, you got like a 1980s username, but it's all good because I was around the 1990s, because I was around the 1990s, because I'm old as fuck. Hopefully you are too. I'm not just making fun of you. Anyway, first in the chat would be Mile High Blurred. What's going on, fam? Long-time listener and viewer. Thank you for being here.
How the fuck? Yeah. This is gonna be interesting.
I gotta go a beer for all this shit. Oh, and thank you, Mile High Blur, for the super chat.
Oh, was that a ring?
Yeah.
I heard a chime.
Yeah, when you hear that chime, that means somebody gave us some motherfucking money. So thank you.
Holy shit! I love that.
I heard a chime and a beat drop, so I was like, "What is this?"
I love it. Thank you. We're thankful.
Yeah, I can.
Marshawn.
I hear background music, which is kind of good.
I do now, but before I didn't. It's all good.
Old Ninja, you usually pour out some type of malt beverage. What are you pouring out, and for whom this week?
My malt beverage I'm keeping to myself this week. I mean, I heard Rush Limbaugh died, but I mean, that's about it. I don't know what say y'all. Y'all hear about something?
Yeah, I heard about him. I mean, rotten hell, man. Like, look.
We're talking about Rushy?
Yeah, look. Most people don't like, I get it, you know, someone just passed. Most people like to speak good things or very neutral things about people. This motherfucker made his living off of just promoting all types of hatred. To anybody who was not white, male, conservative, straight, like, you got fucking hatred from him since the fucking 80s, goddammit, like over 40 plus years. Just to be really, really clear, and I mean, I've been posting out, tweeting and Facebooking all types of heat against him because there's receipts. He recorded, you know, all of this. He got direct quotes from his ass. Michael J. Fox, AIDS victims, NAACP, Nelson Mandela, the Jewish community, Donovan McNabb, NBA players, all black, pretty much all black athletes, Mexican Americans, Native Americans. The list goes fucking on and on. This guy was a true racist piece of shit scumbag, but also won the Medal of Freedom like a year or so ago.
From another
racist. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So anybody feeling some type of way or some sympathy or whatever, fuck them. And let me be real clear on one other thing too. You know, because there are some who will say, well, you know, he had a family and all that. That family ate really well for decades and decades and decades off of him promoting his hate. So, and they didn't have any problem with it either. So, in a lot of ways, fuck his family too. I'm going in on everybody involved with Rush Limbaugh. Fuck them all. He literally wanted to use his fame and money to take down all types of people. I already went through the list, but all types of people that he didn't fucking like. Some of whom didn't have anything fucking against him in general prior to them getting flamed on. Just people minding their own business and getting shit upon for, you know, being gay, being part of a minority group, being a woman, any other thing, or just living their lives and doing their thing. So fuck him, rot in hell.
Yeah, so, honestly, this is the first RIH we've had for people. Rot in hell. Because y'all know me. Usually when we have, old Ninja will bring up somebody, I'm like, that person's kind of a piece of shit. I don't have nothing nice to say about him. But in this person's, death, I will make an exception. Fuck him. Like seriously, fuck that dude. I don't feel bad about the way he died. He lived a terrible life that was based upon preying on the fears of others. Prodigy already brought it up. He disparaged minorities and women and all these other people just to make $1. That is not the way that a human being should ever conduct themselves in life. And the fact that he was rewarded for it in both monetarily and through the fucking president is disgusting. I don't know. Fuck him. I mean, that's honestly. I hope he rots in hell, because like people right now that are saying that, oh, he's such a great American. If that's your version of a great America, then fuck America too. Seriously, he is not a great American. He was a fucking piece of garbage that promoted hatred in his entire goddamn career, and we have receipts. You can play the fucking audios where he made fun of Michael J. Fox, a white guy, for having Parkinson's and saying that he was playing it up for a video. But I mean, the guy he was all fucked up. I mean, Michael J. Fox. The thing is that when he's not speaking, if you watch him, he usually doesn't have that many symptoms. But when he starts speaking, you can tell it's difficult for him to first of all speak, and then second of all stay still, because he has fucking Parkinson's. You know what I mean? And the guy, he had an issue an apology, but he was so flippant about Michael J. And Michael J. Fox, he was making a video to try and raise money for Parkinson's. So it's like, God damn, man, are you fucking serious? And this is just even beyond the shit that he said against like black people that are athletes, calling them thugs, talking about how if you watch the NFL now, you're watching gang members do all this shit, and they're all Bloods and Crips. It's like, get the fuck out of here, you piece of shit. You know what I mean? So fuck everybody that thinks that he was a good person. Your morality is in serious fucking question.
Just to really quickly give some props. I appreciated the fact that ESPN fired his ass when he was going off on his racist shit way back in the mid 2000s. I think it was after the ugly shit he was saying about Donovan McNabb. Now, again,
it was literally the next day.
Yeah.
After what he said about
you don't have to like every single athlete. I get that. And there's going to be fair criticism. I listen to some sports talk from time to time on ESPN. There's going to be some fair criticism of certain quarterbacks or athletes and whatnot. But when you make it a racial thing against a quarterback, for no fucking reason. Donovan McNabb didn't have shit to say about Rush Limbaugh. He just came out of the pocket because he didn't like the guy because he was black and doing well at his job. That's it. Fucked up ass shit all the way around. And like I said, I don't have sympathy for people in his circle who condoned it, his family that condoned it. Like, all of this is foul fucking shit. It shouldn't be allowed. Nobody should have supported it. The sponsors for 40 plus years supported it. He had plenty of people, corporations, investing in advertising on his show and whatnot. They had no problem with it. It made them money. It made him money. And these are people, his millions and millions of followers, who believe this shit. Literally inferiority of someone for being gay, being black, being Mexican. Awful fucking Nazi-ass bullshit. Fuck them.
I like how he called like black people super druggies and this and that, and this motherfucker was fucking addicted to drugs for like multiple years.
He was.
Until he finally came clean and said, "Oh, I'm addicted to fucking painkillers and blah blah blah." Makes me with that bullshit. You're another fucking druggie like everybody else that you claim is a druggie.
Yeah, and he said, and even more specific, even more racist shit is when he was talking about Asians, and he'd be like, "Oh, ching chong, motherfucker, are you serious?" Yep. And then also when he was arguing with some black woman on the phone, he told her to take the bone out of her nose. Like, that's the kind of shit he would say on air, and then people are just clapping for it. Fuck all you people.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Did you? I did not know that this existed, but I guess on his show, he opened one of his shows with a song that said Barack the Magic Negro.
Yeah.
On one of his shows. And so I didn't know, but there's a woman, she was on some cable news network. I don't even know. I think it was, it might have been British, but the look on her face as she has to introduce this, she was just like, like just drained. She's like, I can't believe that I'm saying this, but Rush Limbaugh has this, and they played the song like on air,
Yeah.
where this dude within his like guitar, it sounds like a banjo, but about
This was like this is
lyrics
like
and
the
shit.
opposite. The song was the opposite of Dick Riding Obama that was on fucking Boondocks.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious. Though.
these things yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
But these things have consequences too. Some people already unhinged hear some bullshit like this at the wrong time in their fucking lives and start committing fucking acts of violence, or get radicalized and think it's fucking cool to shoot up a black church or a gay club or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? Like you are making a verbal soundtrack to hate crimes. Like full stop. That's the bullshit this man was doing. So yeah, I posted plenty of the receipts. They're all over the internet. There's people in a lot of ways virtually spitting on his grave. And that kind of pettiness is what happens when you have someone who's truly fucked up and evil. And I'll give one more historical context. Like, look, when Mussolini died, that motherfucker got mutilated and his body was all over Italy and whatnot. And obviously, for people who know history and whatnot, Mussolini was actually the one who taught Hitler how to be a fascist dictator. Italy did not give a fuck when they finally caught up with that motherfucker and killed him. I'm obviously not seeing that level of actual, desecration of the human body at all. But at the same time, people are going to revel in your death if you're an evil, fucked up person.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was the thing when people talk about, America and the systematic racism issues. It's like, listen, we had a person that was clearly a racist, a misogynist. He didn't give a shit about people that didn't look like him, and he was actively promoted, on national airways for multiple years. And at the same time, he's going to talk about, I don't believe in white privilege. Motherfucker, you literally embody it. Seriously, you literally embody it. Like you're sitting up there at the highest levels of entertainment, having your own fucking show, and peddling racist, sexist bullshit to your audience, and people are clapping to you. And you're going to talk about, I don't believe in fucking white. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who take this information and they fucking run with it. Like, right now we're seeing an uptick in violence with our Asian community. They're being attacked. And what's so crazy is like, I thought they were being, because it's almost, it's Chinese New Year's, and so, a lot of people have like little red cars on them. But people are being attacked just because they're Asian, and people think that they have the coronavirus. Which is still fucking stupid. We're almost a year into this, and people are still attacking Asian people because they think they have the coronavirus.
Specifically here in the Bay Area, and obviously, you could be listening from anywhere, but San Francisco, which has a huge Asian American community, Chinese, Japanese, etc., and has for like well over 100 years, and then of course even Oakland as well. And a lot of these are on video; they're in broad daylight. And what's even more disturbing than the fact that they're actually fucking hate crimes is they're against elderly people. Like, what kind of piece of shit are you to push down and literally kill some, because obviously older people are fragile. You push some 90-year-old man down to the curb, he might die in the hospital the next day or something, and that's what has happened. But if you're this cowardly, like Chrono said, you don't belong in a functional society. And I hope they catch these fucking bastards, and we all need to like team up together, because this shit has to fucking stop.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, honestly, if it wasn't for the coronavirus, I would volunteer to like walk these elderly Asian people somewhere, because they need to be protected. And I think that it's disgusting that, especially in the Bay Area, that we have this race. And it's not even just like, obviously we didn't bring up the races of people that were committing these crimes, but it's not just white people that are doing this, and that's makes it even more fucking disgusting. But these people need to be protected. The Bay Area would not be the Bay Area without Asians. Like, it literally would not. Like, without people that are Southeast Asian or Asia in general. Like, we didn't have Indians or traditionally looking Asians. I don't want to say the O word, but you know what I mean. Like, without them, this place would not exist in the way that we have it right now. And the fact that these racist motherfuckers want to believe the hype about the China virus when these are American citizens here, even if they weren't American citizens, they're still human beings that are living here. They didn't fucking create some goddamn virus that wiped out these people. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't do shit. They're just trying to live their goddamn lives just like you, but you believe in racist nonsense and you decide to assault people. Fuck you.
The other thing is, I think would blindside these motherfuckers. Like, you know, they're not even looking at you. You're coming from behind and pushing down an elderly woman.
Yeah, who the fuck does that?
Like, the whole thing, I thought it was like, you know, because I thought they were going to rob him or anything, but no, they just fucking push him over and just keep on walking. It's like, why? Like, what was the fucking point? Like, there's no rhyme or reason for this shit to fucking happen. It's insane. Yeah. It's stupid. It's crazy stupid.
Yeah, and a shout out. There's been a few Asian American actors I've heard that that have been speaking out of. I can't remember his name. What's the guy from Lost? It's
like Daniel.
That handsome ass motherfucker. That dude's handsome as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's too goddamn good looking. That's what it is.
He's also on Hawaii 5-0. So it's Daniel Day Kim. And also, I believe BD Wong has said some stuff as well. Good. And he's from the Bay. Yeah. So
BD Wong can do no wrong. That guy's so
pretty
awesome.
much. Speaking of which, we'll talk about it later on, but he's in a new project, so.
I was gonna say, Rush Limbaugh would hate the fuck out of BD Wong.
You know what BD Wong should do?
Play the gay character.
This is what BD Wong should. BD Wong should dress up like the character in. He's dressed up as White Rose, like straight up cross dress, and then piss on his grave. I'm just saying.
God dang.
I would squat piss.
He should record that shit. I would pay money to see that shit.
My jaw was on the floor watching that episode. Yeah. I'll never get over him pissing on that grave in the white pants. I'm like, bruh.
Yeah.
I need somebody to make that into a meme. Somebody needs to take that clip from the Moo show and just put Rush Limbaugh's name on there, and then just have BD Wong pissing on it.
Oh, that's all bad.
Internet, Twitter, Reddit, make that shit happen.
Holy shit.
I was gonna say, did y'all see that there's a comment that Rush Limbaugh made about mugshots, how like all of these mugshots look like the Reverend Jesse Jackson, and like I don't even know if he had like backlash from it, but like the thing is that I've seen two things that I've noticed today. Is that one, he had millions of followers, millions of people that tuned in, and then there was this debate on Twitter on who was the more I guess the radio host that had more followers, or that was more of a shock jock, as they used to call them. Was it Howard Stern or Rush Limbaugh? And I was like, well, because people were bringing up receipts about what Howard Stern used to say versus what Rush Limbaugh continued to say. Yeah,
I will say this, and I'm someone who used to, full disclosure, listen to Howard back in the day and whatnot. You know. Some of his stuff, of course, went over the top. I think his was much more of a comedic show, and some things landed, some things didn't, than an attempt to like basically inspire some racial hatred per se. But receipts are receipts. If you got receipts, then you know I'm not going to defend everything that Howard Stern said or did. I'm not.
Yeah.
So. You know,
I never was into Howard Stern. I could never get into his show.
You gotta watch Private Parts. I wasn't into Howard Stern until Private Parts came out, and I was like,
Private Parts, the thing that turned me away from him.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, I thought Private Part. I even tried to listen to him.
That fart man stuff got me.
Beetlejuice freaked me out.
Yeah. There's one other, like, before we take. I mean, obviously we got some nerd shit to get into, but there's some real shit going on in this country, man. Like Texas and plenty of the Great Plains and whatnot, they don't have power. And there is a terrible, I don't know if you call it a blizzard, snowstorm. You know, I'm from California. Maybe I'm not using the wrong terms, but it's really, really fucking cold. Like, you know, and...
I feel like you should have said something like that. I feel like you were gonna be like the black dude, the black weatherman on Family Guy. It's gonna snow.
Exactly. That's all I got. I mean, like,
it's raining sideways.
Yeah, you know, I can't tell Fahrenheit, Celsius.
I will piggyback
here's
on
the
this.
Thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to be real clear because you know, yes, I was insensitive with Rush Limbaugh for good reason. I feel for these fellow Americans fucking suffering, man. This is not cool. People without power in sub-zero temperatures, no heat. You see icicles from the ceiling fans, people burning stuff in their fucking living room and sleeping in their cars, babies and whatnot. This is all fucking bad, and some people have already fucking died from this. This is no fucking joke at all. We'll get into it later on, but I got some heat for some politicians down there.
We could talk about it now.
The people, I want nothing but help and relief for them, and my heart goes out to them. I hope we can do what we can to help.
Yeah, I have the same sentiment. I mean, there's people for some reason in America, like, we talk shit about different states. But listen, when it comes to like life and death shit, like, it's just not fucking funny, man. So I saw a lot of people like on Facebook and stuff like making fun of Texas and shit like that. But listen, Texas is not designed traditionally to deal with these sorts of issues. Even though they had warning signs, which we'll get into a little bit later, they had warning signs of this shit coming in. I was actually there for one of them, the last one that happened. It was like over 10 years ago where it iced over. But for them to like sit there and backtrack and talk about how it's green energy's problem, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. We'll get into that in a minute. But it's just like, these people are in some serious trouble, and their actual local and state government need to help them, and they need to do a better job with like getting the power back on and not trying to circumvent the blame. Like, fuck the blame, all right? You need to help your goddamn constituents and the people that elected you into power, and not just sit there and sit on your hands and be like, oh, we can't do anything. We're gonna blame some other bullshit. It's like, no, you've all been in power for a long time. You fucked up. Take responsibility and help your dying citizens. Like, there's people that literally have no water and no power in sub-zero temperatures in homes that are not designed for sub-zero temperatures, like, at all. There's no fucking basements. Yep. They don't have fucking double windows. They have large, open windows. It's not double insulated. Like, when it gets sub-zero in Texas, it's gonna be cold as fuck inside your house. So help your fucking people, and don't sit out there and make excuses, and definitely don't talk shit and say that it's not the government's problem. It's not up to them to help the people. Yes, it is, motherfucker. We pay taxes for you to help us. You are literally, part of what we pay you for as the government is to make our society better, and we give you a pool of money to improve upon our infrastructure, build infrastructure, and maintain the infrastructure. When you don't do any of those things, and then you bitch about it afterwards and be like, that's not what we're here for. Yes, the fuck it is. That's a social contract that every goddamn American knows, and that's why we accept paying taxes, because we assume that when we pay these taxes, that you're going to uphold your side of the social contract and uphold these basic needs of people. But when you don't do that, and then you try to make fun of your own constituents, fuck you. Like, you should have never been in power. You don't understand how the fuck government works at all on a basic level. Like, where do you think tax money is supposed to go to? Is it supposed to go to just in your fucking pocket? No, it's supposed to go to fucking roads, paying for fucking infrastructure, all this other shit, regulation. But, don't mess with Texas. We're all our own state. Meanwhile, look where your own state infrastructure got you. The fact that you're not fucking attached to the rest of the nation's power infrastructure, look where it got you now. Is it fucking funny? No, but it's a fucking fact that your government fucked you, and they're literally not trying to help you right now, and it's a fucking problem. I'm not saying that you need to flip the fucking state blue or some shit, but you need to hold your goddamn elected officials accountable. They're fucking you, and people are dying because of it.
Yeah, Stitch isn't on a podcast today, but he's in a chat, and he said that Texas leaders put them in a shitty position, and they're looking to blame everyone else. And then Warrior Fella followed up saying, it's gonna be another Flint, Michigan, and New Orleans, Louisiana. So yeah, the shit's a shit show.
Yeah, it's going on right now. I think almost everybody knows someone either from Texas or still living in Texas.
A lot of
it's
people.
That big of a state.
Yeah,
it's crazy. My a friend of mine that used to live out here in California, like a childhood friend of mine, she just moved to Texas last week. Like, literally, she posted on her Instagram saying like, oh hey, this is my new house and this and that, and literally 3 days later, she's taking video footage of snow in front of her yard, and she doesn't even have furniture because like her furniture was being moved from California to Texas, and they can't deliver their furniture or anything, so they're basically living in a goddamn empty ass house with like no furniture, like barely any like clothes or anything. Like I feel really bad for her.
I think Ella Darling just moved there last year as well, so she's like affected by this.
She's in Austin or the Austin
we'll have to reach out to her
area?
see if she's okay.
Yeah.
I follow her on her Instagram, and she hasn't posted anything bad, so I think she's doing all right. I mean, she posts something half naked, so she can't be cold.
What the fuck?
She said
She's
went
got
to
bills
her
to pay,
parents.
man. It's a profession.
Go ahead.
So.
Yeah, she said she went to her parents' house in Texas.
Okay.
And
Good.
I guess she moved to the Austin area, something
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
It's
a nice
all.
area.
I mean, here's the other thing too. Houston is the 4th largest city in this country. It's not a small place. Neither is Dallas. Neither is San Antonio. Neither is Austin. These are big fucking cities. Well over 1 million for all of those cities. And then obviously you have the surrounding areas and whatnot. This is tens of millions of people, man. This is a disaster. I don't care what it takes, federal, state, whatever. You got to get generators. You got to get shelters. You got to do whatever it takes to keep people alive and warm in that fucking state. And then, ooh boy, you're gonna have some 9/11 style commissions for that ass. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So
go
ahead.
And just to be really clear too, when California fucks up on energy, which has happened before, we take full blame and whatnot, and when things happen in New Jersey, any state that has a failure can get this smoke, But while it's happening, you need to protect and save lives. Like that's the bottom line. I don't see this any other way. Oh, and then one other thing, really quickly. God damn it, if you don't shut the entire fuck up about how windmills don't work when it's cold.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
If you don't miss me with that bullshit, I think it was Abbott, the governor. Holy fuck. Canada got windmills. Antarctica got windmills. Vermont.
Alaska.
Yeah. I mean, there's Norway. There's a billion examples. If you literally take 5 seconds and go into Google and type such and such cold weather place, windmills, and you'll see pictures and evidence for your fucking self. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a windmill expert. I'm not claiming to be. But I guarantee you there's some mechanism that makes windmills work in fucking Canada and Antarctica. I've seen it.
You know what? That's probably the dumbest thing I've heard since a woman, I think she was in out in Livermore or whatever, she had complained about the windmills being the reason why our winds are so strong or something like that. Like this chick literally thought windmills were fucking fans and they were causing wind themselves. It's like, no, stupid bitch. They turn wind into fucking energy. Stop being dumb. And then also our previous president, he said that windmills were killing millions of birds every fucking year and blah blah blah. And it's like, cats kill more birds than windmills do.
Yeah, airplanes kill birds
like,
too. Like nobody seems to give a shit
Yeah,
about
exactly.
that. But anyway, and they also die on their own. What the fuck? Anyway, yeah. When it comes to shit like that, it's amazing to me when they're talking about, because they try to blame it on like green power, but I'm like, okay, first of all, you're in Texas. You've been the governor for Texas for how long? And you're gonna complain about green power? We all know that Texas, the vast majority of everything that they run on is oil. So I looked it up, and it's like it's somewhere between 10 and 20% of their power comes from green means, and it's mostly wind and solar. But it's like, okay, when it comes to solar, you bought the wrong. Like this is what I was gonna get into before. I was in Austin, Texas. I think it was like 2007, 2006. It was over 10 years ago when it iced over. Okay, and it was a huge issue. They had blackouts then too. And when I went there, I was like, I landed and there was ice on the ground, like inches of ice on the ground. I was like, what the fuck? I'm in Texas. Like, oh yeah, every few years this happens. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And they have blackouts. So they have warnings about this years in advance that this shit happens, because they know it's a cycle. It's like how El Nino comes to California. Every now and again, Texas will freeze over. They had these warning signs. They were warned more than 10 years ago. This could happen again. It's going to be even more disastrous. But they did fucking nothing. You would think that if you knew that you would have freezing weather every few years, that you would winterize shit. That you would buy windmills or retrofit them to survive freezing temperatures. But you didn't. You would think that you would, if you had solar panels, that you would have a team of people that would clear off solar panels from the fucking snow, because it's not that goddamn hard to clear them off from snow, or have heating elements on the actual solar power. But you didn't. You would think that for your the pipes that hold all of your oil, that you would weatherize them, because when the shit fucking freezes and it's a liquid, it expands and fucking explodes. But you didn't do that. And also the controls for these things also froze, and that's one of the reasons why that it was an issue. But they didn't do any of that. Instead, they decided to just blame it on quote-unquote green power, when it was their own ineptitude to not keep up on their own power needs when it comes to their weather systems. And it's a huge... They think it's funny now that, you know, that they could blame it on something else, but it's their issue that they need to fucking fix. So I understand that when we talk about, you know, climate change, a lot of folks on the right think it's a joke, because they will incorrectly name it as, you know, global warming. But science has correctly changed the term fucking decades ago. It's not just global warming, it's climate change. And so when we talk about climate change, it's the extremes of both. It's where it gets unusually cold in certain times and unusually hot in other times. And so, but people, they're so focused on the global warming part, but the actual problem with climate change is it's global cooling. And I think I talked about this on a previous podcast, where it's far more dangerous because it happens far more quickly. Where you can have things where it freezes over in a very short period of time. The fucking poles, the Arctic ice caps, they used to fucking extend into Florida. And that shit happened for the vast majority of the Earth's time. That's how big the fucking polar ice caps were. And there are times where they had flash freezes where they found fucking woolly mammoths with food still digesting in their stomachs, and they fucking froze so fast that they could still find the food digesting in their stomachs after they thawed them. That's what I'm worried about. The incremental increases in heat, yeah, it's bad, but I mean, we can survive that. But these fast cold things, especially when it gets down to like areas where we're not used to having the cold, that's far more dangerous to me and probably a lot of scientists. And we're seeing it now in Texas, where literally their infrastructure is not designed to hold up to the cold at all.
And being out here from California, like we're not fucking great either, because we have our own issues as well. We have rolling blackouts or brownouts, and you know, we had like forest fires, and like, you know, we should have been on top of that shit as well. So it's our government's fucking us over, basically. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, we really need to get people in office who's going to actually take care of us and not just think about large corporations or just fattening their pockets with money.
The funny thing to me is infrastructure actually pays for itself. It has a positive ROI.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you look over a few decades. So it shouldn't be this partisan issue. Investing in infrastructure, you know, especially when you're talking about green stuff, you know, you got relatively high-paying jobs that, you know, for every dollar you invest in, you get, you know, 10 years down the road, $3 or $4 back usually. And it's something where China and a lot of Western Europe is going to leapfrog this country if we don't start taking it seriously. Now, don't believe me, I'm just some Yahoo on this cast, you know. I'm going to make one quick recommendation book-wise. Jeremy Rifkin wrote this book, and he's way smarter than I'll ever be, called About the Green New Deal and about some of the stuff with international infrastructure when it comes to solar and wind. Well-researched stuff. I finished it about a month or two ago. That book will break it down much better than I ever could.
Well, it's
What's the name of the book again?
It is called The Green New Deal by Jeremy Rifkin, and while I think the subtitle is something like Why Big Oil Will Collapse in the Next 10 Years or something like that.
Well, I mean,
anyway, go ahead.
Oil has to. So this is the problem when people talk about, you know, oil and good quote-unquote oil jobs. Listen, even though I will concede that oil is not finite, well, it can be infinite, but it takes millions of years. So when people talk about oil, they seem to think that we have this never-ending stream of oil, and that it also doesn't pollute the you know, our atmosphere. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love fucking gas-powered cars. It's great, but at the same time, it's like we need to move past that because oil is finite. We're getting it from places. It's not renewable in our time, in our lifespans. Meanwhile, we have things like lithium-ion batteries or you know, battery technologies that are renewable. I'll give you a perfect example. I have a car that has 22 gallon gas tank. I use the 22 gallons of gas. That gas is gone basically for the next 2 million years. At least 2 million years. It's gone. It's turned into various base components and shot in the atmosphere. It's gonna take a while for those things to get reabsorbed into the earth and turn back into oil that we can reuse again. So it's an unrealistic time frame. Meanwhile, you can mine lithium ion and other various nickel cadmium and other various battery storing materials, and you can keep reusing that. You can keep pumping it in. You can keep reusing that same power into that. And if someone wants to be like, oh, well, you're getting the power from coal, but it's like, you don't have to. You can use the same fucking batteries to stop wasting goddamn solar and wind turbines and hydroelectric and nuclear power too. Like, nuclear power still needs to be part of the conversation. And then also, actually, those are the three main ones. You can still, the main problem right now is that we don't have any sort of power storage facilities in the world. Like, we just, every time you see like all these wind turbines and solar powers, we have no way to store them. Right now, we just kick it all back, into our grid, but there's very few places that actually store it. They're doing it a little bit now with like Bloom and a couple other companies that are trying to store it.
Tesla.
Yeah, but there needs to be like way more storage facilities to store all these things when we're not actually using it. Because right now it's just fucking wasted. Unless you're using it, it's just wasted.
Yeah. No. Well said, dude. Well said. I didn't used to care about any of this stuff, but you're getting older. You got kids and whatnot. Blue's got a kid on the way. We all of us except for Old Ninja, have kids, and it's like, you do want to leave things better than you got them.
Who was it that said? Who was it that said? The children are our future. Was that Whitney Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Treat them well and let them lead the way.
Yeah, it's a bunch of and I mean, this is one of the other things. Like when I'll talk about the other side of this. Is that people are really like, I'll take Greta Thunberg as like a perfect example. Like I feel bad for that I think she's a woman now, right? She's still a kid?
Yeah, I think she is grown.
She must be a woman now.
Like,
She must be grown.
Like maybe 18, 19 now.
Yeah, I mean,
is she the girl who spoke out about climate change?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I kind of I feel bad for her because she bought in like wholeheartedly into like all this shit, like the bad stuff. Listen, when we were all growing up, what did they say? Acid rain was gonna kill us all. What happened to acid rain? It went away because the scientists and various other like factions, they figured out that we can reduce emissions and make the world safer, and we're still doing that. Like when people are talking about we're destroying our planet, in the meantime, we still have all these technologies that we're still using and making better to make our planet safer, like with battery technology mostly. And we're gonna keep doing that, especially when it's lowering the cost of things for the average people in across the world. So I think that when we pump these kids full of these things of like, oh, the world's gonna end because of X, Y, and Z, but you also don't tell them that we're also developing technologies to fight this. I think it's incredibly disingenuous to our children to not give them any sort of hope. And then you get somebody that gets so sad and mad about what they think is the current state of our planet. You get somebody like Greta, but it's like, hey, listen, Greta, it's gonna be okay. Like, we need your voice too, don't get me wrong. We need you to, like, people like you to speak the fuck up, but also be a part of the solution. Like, if you want to sit there and complain about the way the future's gonna be and you're so angry about this and that, please, I would encourage you to be a scientist and be part of the solution to fix these things. Because there's a whole host of scientists that are already working on ways to fix these problems. Like I said before, in the 70s, they saw that we had unusually high amounts of lead in our water. And there was one scientist that saw that. He was like, there's lead fucking everywhere. What is going on? It's like, you know what? There's lead in gasoline. Everybody's using a lot of gasoline. And this is how we got to smog glass too, by the way. And he was like, hey, why don't we just take the lead out of gasoline and see what happens? Because I don't think we need lead in gasoline. I don't have the real correlation yet, but I think we should do this. And they did it. And then the lead levels across the planet went down. So that was a thing that was averted. Same thing with fucking battery powers with cars. Like, the solution's already there. We're moving that direction. So let's continue to move that direction.
Well, there's also the whole thing with hairspray too. Like once they realized that, you know, the CFO or something instead of hairspray was causing like our ozone to deplete.
CFCs.
And they got rid of that.
Yeah.
What was it?
CFCs.
Real quickly, back to the lead though. I agree with what you're saying. The only caveat I would say though for the lead in the gasoline is, motherfucker, since the Roman times we've known that lead is toxic. There was like human beings have always known lead is fucking toxic to humans. Like there was never a good reason other than to make oil companies and energy companies money that we had lead in our fucking gasoline. We shouldn't have ever done it. But I'm glad it got fixed. I'm glad it got corrected. I'm glad people listen to scientists. But miss me with the bullshit. That was basically like some Philip Morris cigarette company talking about cigarettes are healthy for you. No, lead was never fucking healthy for you.
It's not healthy for us, but it does make explosions go better. So you can actually still buy leaded gas, by the way. I don't know if people knew that. Like if you want to get some fucking gas that's over like 100 octane, like it's fucking got lead in it. So
holy shit, yeah. Lead is bad. don't. The other thing was it used to be in fucking paint. Like like old school houses when we were kids still had a lot of lead-based paint houses,
and asbestos too.
And asbestos, it's crazy. Which they knew ahead of time was toxic. That wasn't brand new information for them. Go ahead.
So it's crazy for our house. Our house was built in 1949, and it might have the original paint on it. So if we ever get our house painted, we have to have it tested for lead, and if it has lead, then whoever paints the house has to do like some special kind of removal of the paint. They can't just like come over and spray over it. They have to like strip the paint down and then repaint the house. There's just money.
I gotta tell you that's one of the cool things. So I've only used exactly one benefit from me being an actual veteran, and it was the fact that I used my VA loan. And what was cool about the VA loan is that they had to do so many fucking inspections on the house for me to get this house, because they had to make sure there's no asbestos, like there was no lead paint, there was no fucking, like everything had to be fucking sound as shit in the house. So thank goodness for that. I'm not living in I mean, the house isn't the greatest house in the world, but it's not fucking falling apart, even though I had to change 2 toilets and my fucking, what was it? My garbage disposal already, but it's all good. I didn't mind. I would tell
just upgrade.
Yeah, and I have a bidet, so it's all good.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I gotta ask, how are those? Like, I've been thinking of upgrading.
They're amazing. You need to get one.
Yeah. Can I get the pitch for why you should get a bidet?
Yeah, give me the pitch.
All right, so this is something that when I was overseas, the first time I had a bidet was when I went to Iraq, because I had bidets in Iraq, and somebody Indian actually broke this down for me, and he said, okay, when you imagine if you got shit on your hand, like if you literally had shit on your hand, what would you do? Would you just take shit on your hand and just take a piece of paper and just wipe it off? And then be like,
put some soap and water on that motherfucker.
Yeah, so why don't you do the same thing with your asshole? it's not clean with just normal toilet paper. Because I mean, I was using like wipes for a while, but the bidet is the way to go. And if you're gonna use a bidet, try to get one that get a fucking fancy one. They're so easy now to get, like the toilet seats. Don't get the one that is just like squirting water on your ass. Get something that will clean your asshole. If you're a woman that cleans, your lady bits too, something that dries your ass, and something with a heated seat, and something with warm water.
Time the fuck out. Time out. Yep. God damn it. Hold up. You're telling me it does more than spray? It actually dries your ass too?
So the common ones, the ones that are not common, but the ones that are good, the Japanese style bidets. So they clean your asshole with water, warm water. Well, they can pulsate in various different ways.
Yes.
They
what the fuck?
They will dry your ass before you sit down. It'll even start deodorizing the area. It will also, the same seat will also illuminate the toilet for you. So, and it has unlimited water, because a lot of them have unlimited warm water, because the good ones have like a heating element inside the toilet seat. So you hook up like basically the cold water from your toilet, and then wire it over to your actual toilet, and then when it gets full of water, it heats up the water for you to whatever temperature that you want, and it does all that shit for you.
A tank.
Yeah.
All right, I'm asked a real crude question, because we're real on this show. So like the water doesn't shoot in it, like it just grazes your asshole, right?
Some of them can.
It's not a yeah. It's not a strong stream. It's not gonna like make its way into your asshole, but like it does like tickle it just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay. It's not like a gloved up. Let me check that prostate kind of thing.
No.
No,
Okay,
I mean,
good.
but
All right.
some of them are kind of like that. They'll fucking. It depends on the pressure. That it's to your
Yeah.
own. You can set the pressure that you want. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Well,
now
some of the cheaper ones, they use the pressure that's coming from your faucet. So like I think the water that comes in your house comes in at about like 60 psi, I think.
yeah.
So you gotta be careful when you turn up that water because you can turn it up too high and you might get a little sprints in your butthole.
Yeah, you might give yourself an enema on accident.
Get that deep clean.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. This is a PSA. Get a fucking bidet. Clean your asshole.
Yeah.
Get rid of the dingleberries.
And you use way less toilet paper too. Like holy shit. Like I'll use toilet paper just to dry if I need to if I'm like have a meeting in 5 minutes and I can't sit there and let my ass dry with the dryer. Like I'll use toilet paper to dry off. But I use like 3 squares and that's it.
I've been living my life as a fucking caveman all this time, and just
You and your
doing
Atari
it.
2600.
Yeah, with my Atari.
You ain't even got a PS5, bitch.
Well,
Step your game up.
on the low, I'll save it for until I have it in hand, but that might be changing soon.
Hey, they got them at Costco. Costco got really good deals on some bidets. And they're the Toto ones too. So Toto's like
Toto's
one of the
shit.
#1 manufacturers.
Yeah. Actually, the other
Like
day.
in Japan.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick. When I was in Japan, the first time I used a bidet was in Japan, and this motherfucker had music. When you walked in there, it had music. It talked. The seat automatically went up. I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" But yeah, Japan's like their shit was way in the future, like 10 years ago.
So it's funny. So Kamek actually bought me a bidet for I think it was Christmas or some shit. So I finally installed it, but then like our toilet, I got mad with it, so I bought a new one, a Toto. But the problem is that the Toto, not the Toto, the Tushy. I got a Tushy bidet, which is like kind of like a new American style bidet, and it was okay. But the problem was is that with the new Toto toilet, it has like this double tornado flush thing. So there's like a lip inside the toilet to make the tornado thing, and the Tushy like bidet nozzle thing goes straight down, and so it would hit the little lip, so it would never like spray properly, just spray straight down. And so I was like, oh, I'm looking for another one. So I'm like doing research to buy another one, and then I got an email from like Woot, and I was like, really, Woot? And Woot had some on sale for like used to be like $400 or $500, something like that. It was on sale for like I think it was like $260. So I was like, fucking done. It had all the things I wanted. Deodorized, heated, all-in-one heated seat, fucking 2 different nozzles, the pulsating thing. It was like fucking great. So I bought that. It's on the way. I'll have it later on this month.
And the install is fairly easy, right?
It's super easy, man. Like if you get one, go ahead, Blue.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's just like changing a toilet seat on a fucking toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
There's only one extra thing where you have to like literally like the one that I have. So the Tushy was kind of not great because I had to run a line from my hot water from my sink, which is not great because you have to run a whole line and then you have to wait for it to warm up and shit like that. It's fucking annoying. But the one that I got, it has like you just run the line that goes from your toilet tank and you do like a Y line into your bidet. So it has like actual water that's held in the actual toilet seat, and it heats that up with a heating element. So it's a better solution overall.
So the one I have has the water tank where it heats up the water.
Yeah.
You need to have an outlet nearby too because it needs to plug in for some kind of power source. But I just posted in the chat room the version I got off of Amazon. But the version I have it cleans it's for females. They can use it for their fronts and their backs. Mine's actually have the kid setting too, so the water pressure is a little bit less strong as it would be for an adult. But like the whole pulsating and the oscillating feature on there, oh man, your asshole will be squeaky clean when you're done with it.
God damn. Okay. I'm sold. I might have to upgrade after taxes or something. Fuck it. I need to be fancy like y'all motherfuckers.
It's team clean buttholes.
Yes. Old Ninja, are you old school caveman in it, or are you team bidet?
He's 3 seashells, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm old, extra old school. I got me a shovel, dirt, just squat over
I feel
that.
like
And then, there you go.
having a bidet makes you understand exactly what the 3 C cells are. Because you got water. It sprays the water. The second one is it pulsates, and the third one is it dries.
God damn. That
3
thing
C
sound
cells.
like futuristic shit, man. I'm down.
Well, you know what you also can do if you want to be super super old school, you can use a fucking, what is it called, a tableau. It's like a little bucket you fill up with water. And
Taboo.
Yes.
You dig your hand in there, you splash it on your ass and like wipe it down. Yeah, that's what Filipinos use.
That's, yeah.
The guy, what's his name? The comedian, Joe Coy.
Coy. Yeah.
He talks about that shit. That shit had me fucking dying. I saw him live in San Jose like a year and a half ago, pre-Rona, talking about that shit. I had never heard of that shit in my entire life. That shit is funny.
Well, that's what's confusing. Like when you go, so when I went over, the first time I saw like a quote unquote bidet. I mean, I guess it is still called a bidet, but I was in Seychelles, which is a fancy island group. It's really nice. I should not have went there as a Marine, but we got diverted to go there. It's a nice place. But they have bidets there, and it's like literally the bidet was like a toilet. It was like a toilet seat. It was a toilet with no toilet seat, and then a faucet. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? But apparently you're supposed to like use it and like use your hand and like wash your ass in this like traditional bidet. But I'm just like, I'm not gonna use my fucking hand and water to like clean my asshole that I just shat out of. You know what I mean? So like the Japanese style bidets are much better to go. So if you're looking at bidets, do like the Japanese style bidets where like it's in the toilet seat, it does everything for you. Like don't do the traditional way. You'd buy a whole separate fucking toilet and use your hand to wash your asshole. So
Yeah, my hand's already dirty and my ass. Like, what the fuck?
yeah. I mean, I get it that you want to wash it and make sure that it's clean, but also I'd rather just use water. Like an automated system to do it.
Yeah, dude, I'm fucking sold.
I remember when I was a kid, my auntie had a bidet, but she had like the traditional old school bidet where she had like where there's a toilet and there's a bidet off to the side, which is like a toilet with a little faucet. Yeah, and I was like, first time I saw it, I was like, is this a urinal? Like, is this for boys and the toilet's for girls? She had to explain to me what it's for, and I was like, okay, that's too much information, Too much information, auntie.
Yeah.
Because that's for ladies to wash their front bits.
There you go.
But it's also, I mean, it's still sanitary either way you go. So it's way more sanitary than using toilet paper. You know what's crazy to me? So this is like, I think the whole like toilet thing and using toilet paper, it's super how do I put this and make it not seem like offensive to people? So you know how like growing up, people made it like our society made it seem like Africans were like so dirty, like all the time and shit like that. That shit wasn't true at all. Like apparently like cleanliness was like a huge part of like African culture, even during like the slave days when we had when Africans had their own slave slave trade. The first time they saw Europeans, they were like, "Why don't you wash your hands before you eat?" Like they were like, "What the fuck?" Like because they were cleanly like that. Like they made sure that they were clean. And there's multiple accounts of like other ethnic groups that would say how Europeans smelled so bad because they didn't have the same amount of hygiene as other ethnic groups. And so if you hear about bidets and you're all like squeamish about it, like it's more hygienic. So don't let this weird like European version of hygiene fuck with your brain in 2021. Use proper hygiene. So
look, as long as I'm not having gay water sex with the toilet, I'm okay. You know what I mean? But if it's gonna do that to me, buy me dinner first.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
What's great about the bidet too is that it's actually not energy efficient, but like it's less wasteful. Like it's cheaper to use water than it is for toilet paper because they use water for creating the toilet papers, and there's just so much savings that way too. So I think it's I recommend it for your pocketbook as well. You'll save money on TP, especially with if you had a bidet last year when there was no fucking toilet paper.
Yep.
Oh man, you're living like a king.
I know a bunch of folks bought them last year because of the pandemic. I'm like, yeah, like you probably should. Seriously.
Makes sense. I'm sold. What was going? Oh, can I get an update? Did you guys finish Control? Like,
I haven't finished it yet. No, but I'm still having fun.
I finished Control.
Go ahead, on Ninja. Come in here.
I don't want to give away the ending because it's super weird. I do want to get into the DLC. I haven't purchased it because I played it on the Xbox when it first came out since day one, and it was basically the reviews that got me to buy it because everybody was giving it a 9. It was like almost 9 across the board. So I'm like, well, fine, let me check this out, and I did, and I enjoyed it, even though it was creepy as fuck. The storyline's a little weird, but it still makes sense. It's what you should if you played Alan Wake and I guess Max Payne, sort of, because I heard I haven't played all the Max Paynes.
the Rockstar version of Max Payne?
No,
Oh, no, I'm thinking of something else.
You know, Rockstar did do, I think, the first Max Payne, but I think the subsequent ones, some of them get weird or something. But Alan Wake was weird.
I thought they did all the Max Paynes.
Yeah, Control's just as weird, and there's the one of the DLCs crosses over with it. I mean, it's just such a different and bizarre game. It's definitely worthy of Game of the Year when it came out. The actress that plays the main character, Jessie, she does an amazing job as well. She sells it to you. It's funny because the rest of the supporting characters, they're all just kind of like, they give like good performances as well, but it's like everything's normal to them, but they're in an abnormal situation, so they're just basically in containment mode. It's just really crazy. There's just super like metal I guess moment or level, like literally you put on this music and it's super like metal about the game. It's like
Doom?
I guess, yeah, I
Like
guess
Doom
it's like
with metal?
I haven't played
Doom is
I
so
guess
good.
I think Chronos played the soundtrack for some of Doom, and it's similar to that. There's like that's when you know you're close to the end, is there's a super like high ultra metal like song just screaming in your ears or through your TV. That's when you know you're getting close to the end. It's super crazy, but it's awesome because you're destroying everything in your wake. You're in this really nice like hotel area type thing, and you're just wrecking everything. It's amazing. But yeah, it's definitely worth a buy, especially if it's free on the PSN. You're doing yourself a disservice by not playing this game.
Yeah, it's definitely worth playing. It's weird as fuck, but it's also really fun. They have like a really interesting take on their action. I talked about it on probably 2 or 3 podcasts in a row, but yeah, it's fucking free on the PSN Plus. So just download it, get it. It's beautiful, especially over PS5. The surfs, it still looks okay on the PS4.
Yeah, it's not. So for the plebeian systems, it's not about the look, it's about the frame rate drop. So that will probably be a problem, especially if you have one of the first generation
what does that
Xbox or
frame?
PS4.
What does that mean? A frame rate drop?
Just
I don't get
everything will slow down, and it'll be kind of weird. There might be a point where it might be unplayable, but it will only last like a second.
Oh, you mean like Cyberpunk 2077? I got you. That still occurs on my PS5. I got you.
Yeah, but unlike Cyberpunk, the game will catch up, and you'll be able to continue to play. There's not a whole lot of like drop in or pop ins or stuff like that. The game will adjust because there's a lot of stuff that's happening on the screen, and because it uses, you're able to almost pick up virtually any object, and it's available to you all at once, and you're able to, including enemies, and you're able to use them as weapons. So there'll be areas that are like I guess 5 stories deep, and you'll have access to all of that as well as like a shit ton of enemies. So it'll tax your system a little bit.
Okay, for those who haven't played it, let me just ask the $1 million question: is it weirder than Death Stranding?
Oh,
that doesn't look like a weird game. Not as weird.
No.
Cronus, what do you say?
No, because I wasn't dealing with fucking babies and goddamn external like
little fucking monsters.
It is quite weird, but it's not as weird as Death Stranding.
Yeah,
okay.
I will say there are some visual similarities, but the story is not as weird But even though Control is weird itself, it still feels like an X-Files film or episode. So they kind of put it out there, but then they bring it back and they give explanation of what's going on or a possible theory about what happens. And when you get towards the end, you find out what's going on and whatnot. So
well, I got a question.
It's still good.
I just need to know, is Janet Jackson in this game?
Yeah, I was the same thing. Control.
Yeah. Every time I gotta say Control, I just think of fucking Janet Jackson. Like,
I'm the same way.
her song.
Yeah. It's a great song. Great
None of her
video
songs
too.
are in either.
Yeah.
Also, the scene from Friday with the homegirl who said she looked like Janet Jackson. She got a car like Freddie Jackson.
Yeah, Oh, yeah, I heard that actress died.
Oh,
fuck.
shit.
Yeah, I heard she died a few years ago.
Damn.
Oh.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's so bad. But yeah, back to the game. The game is definitely worth it, especially on PlayStation if it's free, including the DLC. I mean, if you're on the Xbox, it's like $15 for both DLCs, which is the definite worth it because they're selling it for $30 per, and it's $15 for both. That's worth it. Totally worth
Prentice,
it.
you made some more progress in it though.
Yeah. I mean, I got to a part to where I started getting my ass kicked, so I'm like, all right, I gotta change strategies, I guess, because I got to a part where I died twice. And I was like, all right. Then I started killing a bunch of people. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm back in the heat of things. And when I thought I was done, somebody else killed me. I almost killed him, but then he killed me, and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna turn this off. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I felt like
Yeah,
a bitch.
that's what.
I felt like Prodigy
that's-
trying to fucking platform. So I just put it down.
Them double jumps are hard, man. I don't care what nobody says. You
Yeah.
gotta jump and then jump again, and then you
Yeah.
move. It's tough.
Yeah, I was like that with Control. That's why I stopped playing for a little while. I got to a boss that I couldn't beat because as he got closer to death, he sped up his attacks and he got more lethal. And I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
it's like you have to remember like how to really use all of your powers, right? So it's like, especially for me, like the shield thing, I always forget fucking use the goddamn shield. But yeah,
Yeah, you definitely got to unlock the perk where you can use your shield and throw it as a projectile.
yeah,
So when you
I did
first
that.
unlock-
Yeah,
Yeah, when you first unlock it, it's just a shield, and when it breaks, it just drops. Instead of when it gets close to breaking, you can chuck it and kill everyone that's left. It's fucking awesome.
yeah.
What happened at this? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what happened at the? You were talking about it a little bit earlier in the chat, Kronos. What happened at the Nintendo Direct? Wasn't that today?
Yeah, there was a couple of good things. I mean, we're getting a new character on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We're getting Mithra from I forget the fucking game. It's a game I never really played. So I can't talk too much about that. I know Animal Crossing New Horizons is getting Mario Brothers content, which is great for K-Mac and any Animal Crossing fans out there, which includes my youngest daughter. She can play it. She's fucking 4. It's weird. So I'm looking forward to, or they're looking forward to that. It comes out on the February 25th, so in a couple days. They announced Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. It was a really good game on the Wii, and it's going to have full motion capabilities on the Switch as well as the normal button controls.
Is that a remake or a remaster?
It's a remaster, really. It's basically the same game. They just revamped the controls and it looks better, so it's in HD. Another one that what else came out? There was a couple other games that were announced. Most of them were. I mean, Ninja Gaiden is coming back out, but that's like an old game. I don't really care about that.
Wait, not a new Ninja
2 and
Gaiden.
3, right?
No, yeah, it's like the older ones that were on like the PS2 and PS3, I think. So, so it wasn't like a huge deal. There was no word on the latest Twilight Princess. The latest Legend of Zelda is supposed to come out later this year, which I think is probably going to get pushed back. There's nothing on Metroid. Nothing really on any new Super Mario game. So it wasn't disappointing, but they had some stuff. I mean, if you're an Animal Crossing fan, it's a big deal. And there's a few other things, but yeah, it wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be.
Any Bayonetta?
No. Oh, there was a new No More Heroes that No More Heroes 3 got announced.
I remember that
Yeah,
that game.
It's a fun game. Yeah.
Okay.
But No More Heroes. It's not. I mean, it's a cool game, but it's not a Mario or a Zelda or a Metroid. So we really need. I mean, the Switch is actually they're doing a decent job because they announced a bunch of games that were going to be on other consoles as well. They just announced it on Nintendo Direct first, which is kind of cool. But they need to really focus on their exclusives and like getting those out. So to me, when you remake a game, it doesn't really mean that much to me. That much. Like I know that Resident Evil, when they have like these remakes, that's way different. Like, but that's not what Nintendo's doing. They're porting. That's basically what it's fucking porting. They're porting a game from from previous generations of consoles and putting it on the Switch. So for me, it's not that exciting. But they had a couple other things. Like they're having a new Ghouls and Ghosts that looks pretty cool. Capcom is doing a bunch of content. There's a new. Sorry, Jesus Christ, this is probably big for everybody else. There's a new game for Monster Hunter that got announced today for the Switch, which is a big deal if you're a Monster Hunter fan. I am not. So yeah, I mean, they're still doing their thing. I'm glad that Nintendo is staying relevant and really staying on top of their games with the Switch, because to be honest, they need to do that. There's a hole that the Xbox has left in gaming, because Xbox has not had a lot of content out recently. So I think Nintendo is going to continue to increase their market share with console gaming. I think that it's going to be regained by Xbox, but they didn't time the Xbox Series X very well at all when it came out.
Did you see the preview for the Star Wars game?
Yeah,
Star Wars Hunters?
Bounties or something like that. I think it's Star Wars Bounties, but it was a teaser, so there was no gameplay. It's going to be a third-person shooter, but they didn't show any third-person shooting, so I can't really comment on what the game's going to be like.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not a big modern Zelda guy, but obviously I respect the fact that it's a giant franchise. Is Skyward Sword one of the beloved old school Zeldas, or is it middle of the road, or is it forgotten?
No,
how do people rank it in Zelda?
If you're a Zelda fan, it's pretty high up there, because one of the things that was cool about it is because it was on the Wii, and I have the game, and it's really cool because you can use the old school Wiimotes, and so on one hand it would be like your sword arm, and your other hand would be like your shield arm. And so you would use your hands physically to really do your attacks and all that stuff. So as far as innovation goes, back then it was super innovative to really split up the controls and work like that. So it could be really cool for the Switch, but if you're playing it, you're gonna have to detach your remotes, which most Switch players don't do anymore. So it'll be a throwback. But they also realize that there's Switch Lite users. And so for them, they can't detach their remotes. So for that, they're going to use they modified the controls to where the right thumbstick controls the sword.
So, is it safe to say for the majority of Zelda users, this is in their top 3 to 5?
It's probably in the top 5. Yeah, it's a good game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was when I played it was a lot of fun, especially on the Wii. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. But it's not most Nintendo fans wanted the next Breath of the Wild game to be announced to get more info on that, and there was zero mention of it. So it's cool to get a remake, but we really want the new Zelda game.
But you want I'm not trying to speak for you guys, but I would assume from the outside looking in, not a Zelda guy, you would still want them to take their time and do the best job they can with the big franchise of Zelda for Breath of the Wild too, right?
Yeah, I mean 100%. That's for sure. But I mean, this is one of the things about Nintendo games in general is that when Nintendo games come out, they don't fuck up at all. I can't think of a single glitchy Zelda game or Nintendo game at all. So I expect them to have the same high standard of game. So it's fine that they're taking their time, and I get that COVID happened and stuff like that, but I was expecting to have at least, well, probably not Metroid, because I know that they scrapped it and they had a whole new studio pick it up, which is it's fine for Nintendo standards, but it's still disappointing that we don't get to hear about anything.
Yeah, you gotta, because even with on the PlayStation side, we have seen absolutely no gameplay for the new God of War, but they've said that it should come out in 2021. I don't necessarily believe them per se, but
no, I don't either.
It's always good to see a teaser.
Yeah. I mean, with God of War, I mean, Jesus Christ, the last God of War came out 2-3 years ago,
and 2018.
Yeah, that was a fucking masterpiece. And so for them, I did not expect them to have a new God of War, 3 years later. So I would expect
especially with new consoles.
Yeah, I expect it to be more in like 2022, maybe even 2023. It's fine as long as we have more games on the way. The thing is, when it comes to these AAA titles, especially the first party ones, is that as long as you have enough content on your console, you'll be fine. You can keep pushing back games all you want, but when you get to things like the Xbox has, is that they don't have the content from first parties for really anything. Like I think most people, I mean, Old Ninja can probably say yes or no on this, but most people are waiting for the next Halo for the Xbox Series X.
That's a big one. Yeah, it's got to be.
You muted, man.
Yes, I am muted. There's actually a few games that people are waiting for. Halo's being definitely at the top, but also the next Fable, because there was like a little bit of Fable shown, and there has been a Fable since the 360, and we got to see a little bit like that. And then the new IP from Bethesda, the Skyline or shit, it's like the new space adventures that they're doing. They're trying to see if that's going to be an exclusive to the Series X or the Microsoft platform, which will probably be Game Pass and whatnot. So there's some stuff that people are looking at, and then of course the new Elder Scrolls. People are seeing is that going to be an exclusive? I doubt it.
Yeah, highly. But you're going. I think respectfully, I think you're going a few years out into the future with some speculation. Like for 2021, I think the majority of those games aren't dropping or haven't been confirmed to drop.
Halo Infinite has been confirmed to drop during holiday season, but no specific date. Okay. They reported that Fable would be out in 2021, but I won't be surprised if they push that forward. But they're saying around the same time, holiday of 2021. Bethesda's new IP, I didn't see a perspective launch, but I saw that they were really heavy into it. I can't, because I know that they showed it at E3 in 2019, maybe 2018, so could be pretty close. Those are the big ones that I know that most people are talking about.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I need a reason for me to buy an Xbox Series X. You know me, I like owning all the consoles. But I don't have a reason to really buy the Xbox Series X right now. Like literally zero. I'm sorry. Starfield was the game I was talking about.
Starfield?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll get it for Halo, I guess, because I hate Halo and I play them anyway. But it's not coming out anytime soon. So when it comes out, I'll buy it again and then talk shit, I guess. But I can't buy the Xbox Series X for one fucking game, especially a game that I don't even fucking like.
Are they still having what's that? Forza? Are they doing a new Forza or racing?
Yeah,
they're doing a new Forza.
Yeah, I don't like realistic racing games. I'll just fucking race in an actual car in real life.
Yeah, I prefer the arcade. Like I missed Blur. Blur was cool. Blur was like the game.
Burnout.
I loved. Yeah. Burnout's another one. I mean, but Burnout, Need for Speed is basically the new Burnout. Yeah. Because Criterion has been making Need for Speed since Hot Pursuit, I believe.
Destruction All Stars. Have you guys played Destruction All Stars? That's very it has some Burnout elements in it.
Kronos, you're a cruel man. You know goddamn well I haven't played it because I don't have a fucking year 3000 PS5. You're evil. You're fucked up. Damn it.
Look at you, Serge. You can't even play it. I didn't know it was a PS5 exclusive, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a dick. But Blue, what did you think? Did you play it?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's like a mix between Burnout, old school Burnout game, and Twisted Metal, as well as some like first person shooter in combat too. Because like you can jump out of your cars and start fucking people up, but you have to wait till like your car basically respawns before you get back into a vehicle. Or you can jack a motherfucker. You can take another motherfucker's car and ride around their shit. It's kind of fucking dope. I've only played it once, but from the gameplay I had, it was pretty fucking fun for a free game.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously... I'm glad it's free and they have to pay for it because, I mean, there's not a whole lot of content out for it right now. If I had to pay for the game, I would not be happy, but the fact that it's basically free to me, It was definitely enjoyable.
Yeah.
I like the fast pace of it. I like crashing into cars and shit like that. I like the basic premise of the game. I hope they make more content for it.
Can you do your vehicles like actually shoot rockets and guns, kind of like the Batmobile?
You have ultimate abilities with certain characters. I just basically I played the like intro like tutorial, and so in that no, there was nothing like that in there. But you do get an ultimate where you have like special powers with like your hero car. But mostly it's like Twisted Metal or like Burnout. We have to like crash cars, like not like Twisted Metal, like Burnout. You have to crash the cars to gain points. So it's fun.
Good shit. Good shit. There was this, to switch gears a little bit, there was this thing that I kept seeing popping up on Twitter that had like the anime community with their panties in a fucking bunch this past week. So, are you guys familiar with the phrase gatekeeper for anime?
Nope.
No,
not
about gatekeepers for like fighting, but not for anime.
Yeah. So I guess they're using this spray. I wasn't familiar with it either, so this might be showing our fucking age. But I guess the way they're using it, it's people who try and say that so-and-so isn't a real anime fan because they've only watched some of the more popular ones, and that's being viewed as quote-unquote gatekeeping and I guess rude or whatever. The thing that gets me is, to me, if you're the phrase itself, gatekeeping, makes me think that someone's like physically preventing you from doing something or joining a community or whatever. It doesn't make fucking sense to me. And on one hand, and then on the other hand, if someone is super into anime and manga, they probably have really good suggestions, more so than someone who's quote unquote new. I know that when I was getting back into anime, Kronos gave me a whole bunch of goddamn suggestions. Blue gave me a whole bunch of fucking suggestions. I fucking listened. And I appreciated it and started watching them, old school ones, and getting back into the field. I don't get why that's a bad thing at all.
Well, yeah, that sounds kind of stupid. Like,
Yeah.
I understand the point of like gatekeep, but like, I am not stopping you from watching any other anime. Like, that's all up to you. Like, the fact that you are ignorant on anime, that's on you. If you ask for suggestions, I will give you my suggestions. But if I give you my suggestions, then you're like, oh, I'm the gatekeeper. No, I'm not a fucking gatekeeper. I'm trying to help you, like, get into anime. And hopefully you find some shit that you like. Like, usually, when somebody asks me for anime suggestions, I think Patrick, my beer buddy, asked me for suggestions today because he was getting into Attack on Titan. He said it was getting kind of boring after, like, he's on episode, like, he said it was good at first. It's getting kind of boring, like, later in season 1. I'm like, oh, it's going to pick up again, don't worry. He's like, well, you have any other suggestions? And I gave him all kinds of fucking suggestions. And it went from, like the normal suggestions of, like, Demon Slayer, and the time I got reincarnated by a slime, Stone Wars, and then also, like, Death Note. So those are, like, vastly different animes. And it's like, listen, I'll recommend to you, like, different types of animes, and it's up to you to figure out, like, what you like. And then if you like those, if you want to come back to me and ask me, like, hey, I want to watch more like this, then I'll suggest more like that. But it's not gatekeeping. It's like, I don't know what the fuck you like. And probably you don't either as, like, a new anime fan. You probably have no idea what the fuck you like with anime because you're new to it and you don't know, like, how much shit is out there. Like, you might like fucking hentai a lot. I don't fucking know that, you know, so...
Yeah. It's right for that, too.
Yeah, there's all kinds of suggestions for that. But it's not... I don't consider it really gatekeeping. It's just, I'm trying to help you, and maybe you don't know what the fuck you actually want, which is fine. But don't make it seem like it's negative.
Yeah, for me, it's like, I'm someone who's really into basketball and basketball history and whatnot. If someone claims to be a big-time NBA fan or whatever, and I say, okay, well, who's some of your favorite players or teams throughout the course of the NBA, and you don't know who, like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is, or, you know, Bill Russell and the Celtics or whatever, I'm going to look at you like, okay, obviously I need to scale down this conversation and start giving you recommendations of things to get up to speed. Like, you know what I mean? That's not a negative thing. Usually someone who's really into something is going to give great recommendations, and I would also expect someone who's newer to something to be humble enough to admit, hey, I'm kind of new to this, you know? you who are hardcore at this convention doing a panel, tell me something that you would recommend.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, it seems very no-brainer to me.
Let's give a sort of a caveat. I mean, everyone on this podcast is over 40 years old, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of an issue that I think that we kind of take for granted when we talk about like a lot of issues, is that when I ask somebody that is my peer for a suggestion, and they give me a suggestion, even if I don't like it, I thank them for it, and I'll watch it if I can. And then I'll come back with like some feedback. But I think that if you're younger, people will take things. Yeah, I was the same way when I was younger. I was fucking stupid. Is that you might get angry about certain things that there's nothing to be angry about. It's like, listen, you asked somebody that you hopefully trust for a suggestion, whether you like or don't like it. Like, you need to tell them, like, hey, I like this or I don't like this, and then tell them fucking why. Don't be ambiguous and be like, oh, they're gatekeepers because they told me some shit they have. No, fuck that. Like, communicate with them. Be like, grow the fuck up.
Yeah, and don't claim to be a super otaku if you've only seen like one anime in your life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. Yes, you can be an anime fan or whatever. Anime, quote unquote, is for everybody. I get all that, but like, you gotta also have some humility to say, I don't know all of this. Nobody watches every single series. Nobody reads every single fucking manga.
No.
And there are people who come a little bit closer to reading and watching everything. I love hearing from them. Those hardcore motherfuckers, that get absolutely no pussy in their life. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tell me what you watching, so we can, I can add it to my list or whatever. What you guys think? Old Ninja?
I mean, yeah, for me, it's really, really, really hard to suggest anime to someone who's definitely new. Because it's like, if I tell them a suggestion of something that I like and they don't like it, they could be completely turned off. In fact, they may not come back for a suggestion. They'll be like, I didn't like this, but I'm not going to tell them I didn't like this. And then, like, months go by, I'm like, hey, did you ever watch that? Oh, yeah, I didn't like it. I'm like, well, why didn't you say anything? Yeah, I'm like, why didn't you say something about it? Or, in some cases, I tried to do, 3, one of each different genres, like one that I like, one that I know that is popular that I don't watch, that everyone else is talking about. I'll suggest that because I'll hear about it. Like, I don't watch Demon Slayer, but I'll recommend it. I'm like, hey, I'm hearing this one's really good. Everyone's talking about it. You should check it out. See what you think.
So you should definitely watch something before you recommend it, Old Ninja. I was just saying.
Hey, if it's popular, it's usually popular.
I heard it was great.
You've heard it was great. Kool-Aid was great. No, but usually, I mean, Attack on Titan, I'll recommend because I'm watching it, obviously. But there'll be ones I'm more of an old schooler when it comes to anime, so I'll suggest Robotech to somebody because I've loved that series.
There's a lot of Robotech stuff.
I've seen it a bunch of times. It is older, but the story to me still holds up. It's still a relevant story, especially about two different races that basically go to war until like they start to understand each other. So I think that's super relevant. So I will definitely suggest that. But sometimes I'll say, you know what? What I'll do is I'll segue to the podcast. I'm like, hey, I'm part of a podcast. We talk about anime a lot. You should listen to these episodes and listen to what they have to say. Or at least the rest of the cast members do, so that way they get more in-depth a knowledge of what is out there and what they could pick up on. And I've actually had people come to me and say, hey, I was listening to your podcast, and because of that, I started to read this book, or I started to watch this show, or I started to get into this anime. You guys picked up stuff that I never would have heard of. If you guys hadn't talked about it, I would never have known about it. So
interspecies reviewers, goddamn.
Oh my goodness! See, more hentai.
Matt in the chat room had mentioned how like there's gatekeeping in every fucking genre, basically. Any kind of fandom, there's always like, based off of the description you gave what a gatekeeper is, like, yeah, that could be fucking any genre. Like, it's not just anime.
Yeah.
Like comics, movies.
Well, but the thing is that
whatever's on Netflix.
It shouldn't be for I think all of us, we're not trying to gatekeep at all. Like, if you want to know like what we're into or suggestions, like, we'll give them to you freely. Like, I'm not going to stop you from like doing any reading any sort of if you like some genre that I don't, I'm not gonna disparage you for it. Like, yeah, I might not get it, but it's fine. Like, but I'll still suggest to you like what I like, but then give me feedback. You know, like that's why I like what Patrick did. Like he was like, you know, it's kind of at a low right now with Attack on Titan where he's at. But I'm like, you know, keep with it, but also here's a bunch of other suggestions. So like of things that you might like.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I have heard some like super otaku folks talking about such and such is a normie series or a beginner series or whatever, and I get the fact that that could be seen as fucking rude to someone who's new, and I think that you could be an asshole with it. But at the same time, I think the overwhelming majority are just people who are like, "Hey, I've watched this. I really fuck with it. I love it. Here's what I would recommend you watch too," which is what we are fucking all about on this show.
Yeah, I think when somebody says that, it's like so usually on this podcast, when we say like normies, we're saying it jokingly, but I think with like these people that are like super otakus and like super nerdy, when they talk about you know, their normie shows or whatever, it's like you're literally doing the thing that you hate.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you are some super nerd and that you are kind of shunned from society, and then you want to shun those same people that are trying to get into what you're into from like what you're doing. It's like you're the same asshole that you don't like, that made you get pigeonholed in this whole situation. You know what I mean? Like that's literally what you're doing. So definitely be nicer to people that are trying to show an interest in something that you might like. You know, so you know it in almost any genre, you have to start in sort of the quote unquote normie state. Like it'd be like if you're into like I go extreme, I guess. Like if you're into porn, like you're not gonna start watching porn with like a you know,
what? A horse?
Yeah, like some fucking really. I'm trying to think like what's the most fucked up porn that I can think of. I'm just like maybe like DVDA or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
oh damn,
you're not gonna start with like DVDA, like double vaginal, double anal. That's what I'm talking about. You probably shouldn't start there. You're gonna start with something more normal. You know what I mean? Like just like normal fucking. So
just kissing.
Yeah. So it's like take that extreme example and like apply it to something else. Like if you're gonna talk about comic books, like maybe start with like the Avengers. And not start with like what is a fucked up Marvel's probably a bad example because most of their shit is fucking normal. Well, actually, just the comics in general. Like maybe say the Avengers, but don't start with like the Boys. You know what I mean? Yeah. That'll be another extreme example. Or Invincible, which holy shit. But yeah,
I would even go so far as Watchmen as an introductory series. I wouldn't necessarily should start with someone with that. That's a little bit much, especially if you're new to comics.
Yeah. The other thing I want to just add though is also don't make an assumption, you know, based on someone's ethnicity or even their fucking sex. You'd be surprised what someone could get into. Like I've seen some folks that did not look like they loved interspecies reviewers loving themselves some interspecies reviewers, and on the low being like, "Hey, Prodigy, I really fuck with that. You got any other really sadistic hentai stuff?" You know what I mean? Like, seriously, you'd be surprised. People are into all kinds of stuff, and don't just make an assumption based on how someone looks.
Oh, we have a really good question. Sorry, in the chat. And it's actually from Clay. So Clay was talking about curious on what you guys think. What makes an anime bad? I've heard people say Baki on Netflix is bad, but I really like it. And he laughs about it. So I think the problem. Clay's a little bit younger than us. He's a good dude, good fucking fantastic bartender, and a handsome fella. Just saying. The main reason why older folks don't like Baki, it's the animation style. It's the really strange cell shading that's artificial. It's not hand drawn. It's CGI like it's a CGI style. That's the main reason why most like some people that are older don't like that style. The same thing happened with what was that fucking
Ghost in the Shell's the same way.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell. Knights of Sidonia. It's the same animation studio. Fucking that show that Prodigy likes. Goddamn. Berserk. Yeah, they did the same thing. Where they changed the animation style from computer generated, and when it used to be like hand drawn. So that's one of the reasons why people that are older don't like Baki. But I had to get over like the animation style of Baki because it's enjoyable, but I have to like ignore the animation style.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. I will say there are some animes that certain people just don't like the genre of. Like in general, I don't like slice of life usually,
Yeah.
and I usually don't like the sports animes. Like in general, I don't like them. So you don't. Sometimes you'll just find people who shit on them. You know what I mean? Like flat out. I won't completely shit on them. I'll try some to see, maybe this one I'll like or whatever. But even for the hand drawn, decent animation, there's some subgenres that just people don't necessarily fuck with or would say this is bad, which is all subjective.
I can't think of an anime genre that I don't like. I mean, like I've seen some of the sports ones and they're okay, but they're just not for me. But there's nothing out there that I'm like, this is garbage. I can't watch this shit.
Except for
rethink that.
That shit that Prodigy suggested with fucking Jaden Smith. Can't even think of the fucking...
Oh, dude, I love that shit with the fucking Totoro. I mean,
oh my god,
that shit was fucking great. I'm on the same boat with Prodigy on that one.
This was funny.
I would have to. I don't even know. It was so bad.
It'll come.
I know you have the purple hair like Yukio.
It'll come back. Neo Yokio.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Fuck, that show. Yeah, I didn't like that show at all.
Yeah. I would have to say, I mean, you would have to give anime the respect it deserves and treat it like, a TV or a TV show or a movie. It's basically if the story's bad, if the acting's bad, if the story doesn't make sense, I guess a lasting or a problem with certain series is that they have like a lot of filler episodes, ones that have nothing to do with the overall mythology. That could make a lot of people upset or stop watching totally. But I mean, if you don't like the story or the content, that's probably, in your mind or your opinion, that's probably a bad anime. It really depends on what you like. Clay was saying he likes Baki. Regardless of the animation, he probably likes the story, probably likes the fights, and that works for him. And that's perfectly fine. Maybe he'll like Tenchi Muyo as well. Maybe he won't. No idea. I mean, you only know if you only watch it. Check it out.
One other quick thing about anime, and I think it's important to point this out: 95% of the time when there's a new fucking series going on, you hear about it through word of mouth. You're not going to see a big giant billboard in Times Square or a whole lot of TV advertising usually. You don't even see a whole lot of internet advertising usually. Most of the time, it's like at anime cons or word of mouth or the hardcore manga readers are just super talking about it and whatnot, or someone recommends it to you that is your friend. Most of the time, that's how you hear about a great new series.
Well, this is what's weird, as far as like us growing up. So when we grew up in like this really strange time in history where if you want to watch anime when we were growing up, you had to fucking buy actual VHS tapes. Like, buy the tapes. Like, the internet was, like, functional, but not really. Like, I couldn't fucking... There was no Google, obviously.
No.
I'd have to go on Netscape and look up some shit, or there's a couple other ones, too, but... Like, you had to
Alta
really...
Vista.
Yeah, it's like... But there was nowhere you can, like, really find media. For me, it's a little different, because I was an IRC pirate, so I can find those things. But for most people, they're just like, what? Like, you had to actually get the VHS tapes. And so for like folks like us, I think we're way more willing to like tell you like which shows to watch, because we had to go through like this really arduous process to find whatever media that we wanted to. But I think today it's like people are so used to getting any sort of media on demand that they're really taking it for granted. And I think that that might be a detriment to society. Maybe that's where they think about like gatekeepers with shit like that, because people are kind of assholes when it comes to like, oh, you're trying to get into like what I'm into, but like, what do you really know? And I fucking can't stand that kind of shit. That kind of thinking of you need to prove yourself to me for me to give you more knowledge is so fucking dumb. And I think that's probably what they're talking about with gatekeeping. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not like that. Like if you ask me about any sort of anything, I'll fucking tell you. Like, I don't care. Even when it comes to like shit that in my own like career, like industry. Like, if you want to know about, like, my industry, I'll fucking tell you. Like, I don't care. You know?
Yeah.
So, really quick question for Prodigy: is this what you were referring to, like with fandoms earlier today? I saw that you posted like, if someone was a fan of something, um, you believe them that they're a fan because they're telling you what you are, and you're not going to grill them about it. Was something to that
Yeah,
effect?
this is
Is
kind
that
of
what it's
alluding
stemming
to.
from?
Yeah, this is what it's stemming from because I saw it kind of just blowing up. That I on one hand I agree with what Kronos was saying. Don't be an asshole to someone who's new, and on the other hand, don't be a fucking a pretender either. You know what I mean? If you are new, don't fake the
Poser.
funk and be like, oh, I'm a fucking expert. I've been watching this for 40 years, but really you've only seen like one or two. But just be nice to people. And also hopefully listen to some recommendations and make some recommendations of your own. Talk to people. That's one of the things why I fucking miss Fanime and some of these other anime cons, like not being able to go with the Rona and shit. Because you would get into conversations with people who would tell you about some shit that you'd never fucking heard of, and I would listen and write it down and go back and sometimes explore it and fap to it.
Dude, one of the craziest thing about going to like
Oh, man.
anime expos is that like taking pictures of characters with anime, you don't know who the fuck a lot of those characters are. Like if they're not like the ones that you know from what you've seen, like you have to ask that person, like, okay, what character are you? What character are you? Because with like Comic-Con conventions stuff like that, like you see characters that you recognize like right off the bat because you just grew up with that. But with anime, it's a whole different fucking ballpark. Like
Yeah.
there's so many animes out there that you haven't even heard or seen. There's definitely something that's gonna be right up your alley.
Yeah.
Like
it's a lot
for
of-
for example, like God, what's his name? Stitch. He liked the anime called Food War, which is all about fucking cooking.
Yep.
Like how the fuck you make an anime about cooking look so fucking fun and tasty? Like you get hungry watching that anime.
That's hella funny.
Anime titties. That's what helps.
So, really quick, I want to make a slight disclaimer. Those of you watching Interspecies Reviewers, it's not a sadistic anime. It's Redo of Healer. That's
Oh,
a
that is
sadistic
sadistic.
one.
That is sadistic.
That's
That's
very
a good point.
sadistic. Interspecies Reviewers is definitely a
Fun.
comedy. It's
Yeah.
like a sexual comedy.
Yeah.
So it's not. There's no sadism going on. I mean,
True.
if they
Good point.
do, I think there's like maybe one, and it's not. It's like done in a comedic fashion. So, and it's not even like long. So it's not. Redo Healer, on the other hand, that's super sadistic. Very sadistic.
Oh. Did y'all see? It was trending on Twitter a couple days ago. That a character from Fate Apocrypha, Astolfo, was trending. Did y'all see why that shit was trending?
No, I
what?
don't know what the fuck.
This is like the pink-haired one that's like basically I'm going to use this word in anime context, and it does apply, like the trap from Fate Apocrypha.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know who you're talking about. I'm talking about.
People get so mad about it, but like,
Apparently, there's this
they
cosplayer.
call it a
Right?
trap in the fucking show, so it's like,
They really do.
yeah.
They really do. I know people got all get bent out of shape about that, but that's what they called it. So fuck y'all. It was trending like at the top 5 trending. I was like, what the fuck? Fate Apocrypha hadn't been on for a minute. It was a pretty good anime or whatever. And I was like, this is just kind of a random character from there. All of a sudden, it was this cosplayer showing off his giant fucking dick in the Astolfo costume. I was like, what the fuck?
Holy shit.
Like,
What
he
the hell
had
did
this
I come
big
back
ass.
to?
He had this big ass fucking monster energy can, and it was just like, my dick is fucking bigger than this. Let me show you. I was like, oh shit. The
Damn.
Was
fuck?
it in real life or was it in anime?
This was real life.
Holy
This was
shit!
a
Yeah.
cosplayer that was just like, I'm going to show you my giant monster dick in my Astolfo fucking cosplay. Here you go.
Yeah, Blue, you came back to Project Infinity to penises.
Yeah,
Further
if you're at the anime, you definitely got to come out. If you're in the Bay Area, you have to come out to Fanime because, like, you know, the after hours hentai shit's fucking.
Oh my
that shit's
God.
ridiculous.
That's
God.
Like,
ridiculous.
the first time we went to one, I was like, I don't know if I can sit here and watch like bouncing anime titties with a whole bunch of other people. Like that shit felt very, very awkward. But we all had something in common.
We're all
That's
perverts.
terrible. Oh my god. What
you
fucked
surprised how
me-
many females are in there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. I'm actually. I was surprised at like how long the fucking line to get in was. Like the line was curving through part of the goddamn convention hall just to get in to watch freaking hentai. I'm like, are you serious? And it's like an 8-hour block. An 8-hour block of uninterrupted hentai.
And it's also, for those who don't know, it sounds worse than it is in some ways. Like, it's interactive. Like, they have a fun fucking host who's like stopping and doing commentary and talking to the audience, and the audience is talking back and whatnot, and they come up on stage with the microphone and do like these moaning contests. It's the funnest fucking shit you could ever imagine. And I guess they don't do it at every single anime con, but Fanime does that hard.
Yeah, they go all weekend. It's like literally 8 hours of hentai all weekend long.
Yeah, it's
all throughout the
per
night.
day.
It's they're really cool. It's basically it's a panel with porn with hentai. I think it's really cool. So hopefully we can get some panels that are as cool as that. I mean, obviously we've had some pretty fucking cool panels, especially from the feedback that we've been given. And I miss seeing. That's one of the things that I missed of all last year is that we didn't get to go to a single fucking con. We usually go to a lot. We were like building up. Like we've done multiple fucking panels. Hopefully when the Rona's done, I mean, after next month sometime, I think at least 2 of us on the podcast will be vaccinated.
Yep.
So like fully vaccinated. And hopefully sometime in near to the summer, all of us will be vaccinated. But we want to get back to like doing panels again and like seeing all these people. And I want to get back to, I want to go to Cape and Cowell because they have a new expanded location.
Yes.
That I want to go see Eton and see his new location and do like another like large panel there and like just talk about. There's so many fucking good comics that came out last year that really kept me not alive, but I mean it kept me entertained for last year. You know, like King in Black is now the big thing, and there's gonna be this whole future state and all this other shit, and I want to talk about like a lot of comic stuff. But to me, it's like it's terrible because even with comics, I have to wait a week to talk about them because for me, like for comics, I have to let my comics sit for at least 2 days in my garage, and then I can read them. You know what I mean? So I can't. To be safe, and it's like hopefully when I get the vaccine, which will be soon, I'll be able to like keep up with them a little bit better. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I will say this. I was reading a little bit of Future State, and I read some of the Superman one and some of the main kind of Justice League one. It's new and feels fresh, and I like the fucking art. I'll say that so far. I haven't read the Wonder Woman or the Flash or the Batman yet, but so far I'm interested, and I love King in Black. So I like what's going on with the big 2.
Real quick, when we talk about Future State, I will give you one huge fucking critique about Future State. Stop stuffing 2 and 3 fucking comics into one comic. Fucking stop.
Good point.
All right, listen. If I'm buying a Batman comic, I'm buying a fucking Batman comic. I don't give a shit about the Red Hood. I don't give a shit about fucking whoever else. If you want me to buy the comics, I'll buy them separately. But stop stuffing them into the comic and then charging me extra for that fucking comic. Like seriously, there's some of the comics that I bought that are like $5 to $7, and it's just like listen, the monetary value isn't a huge deal, but it's the fact that you're forcing me to buy this content that I don't really fucking want. You know what I mean? Like I'll buy it if I want to buy the Red Hood shit or somebody else's comic, then I'll buy it. But why are you stuffing like half the comic is literally? Hold on, let me see if I can. Yeah, here we go. Wonder Woman right here. Okay, so I'm looking up like Superman and Wonder Woman. All right, and on the fucking, this is the number 1 of Superman and Wonder Woman for Future State.
Pull it closer to your face so we can see it.
There we go. But at the very bottom, it says the new Man of Steel teams up with the new Amazon Warrior. Actually, this might be a bad example because I don't think this one has the double one. But let me look real quick because like a lot of them are like this, and it's just like they're stuffing in like all this shit in the back end, and I'm like, what the fuck?
And it's full issues basically in the back end.
Yeah, this is one. Is it? Shit. Maybe this isn't one. Okay, this is not one of them. But there's like a bunch of them that are like this. Let me find one that fucking actually is. Somebody fucking fill in real quick.
Yeah, it's all good. I noticed the same thing when I was literally reading Superman before the cast, and it was a good issue. I was like, man, this feels like a double, like, or like maybe one of their annuals, because it looks much bigger, and thicker, and obviously it was a little bit more expensive.
Here we go. This is probably one of the more egregious ones. Okay, so I'll open it up because I haven't put my shit away yet. But this is it's Future State Superman Worlds of War, which was good, like reading it. But at the very bottom it says, "Oh look, Clark Kent and Midnighter and Black Racer and Mr. Miracle." So when you're reading the comic, this is a fucking thick ass comic, and this one was $8. Okay, so if you buy as many comics as I do, this shit fucking adds up. Like it really does. Like it adds up a lot. So let me see when the end of Jesus Christ. Okay, this is even before the halfway. It's on a separate comic already. Okay, so the many deaths of super. Okay, so this is the end of the comic is right here. All right, and this is how much is left in the comic.
See?
It's more than half of the comic. It's 3 comics in one. Why are we doing this? Like,
and they're not
seriously.
related. That's the other thing that gets me.
Yeah,
like,
that's weird.
It's not like a continuation of a larger story. It's like a separate comic.
Totally separate. And so, like, what I've been doing now, I'm just like,
true.
listen, I'm just gonna read just the actual comic, and if it's like something I'm not interested in, I'm just not gonna fucking read the rest. Like seriously, because I'm not subscribed to them. I've never subscribed to these comics, so I'm not reading the rest. Like,
it's a turnoff. I agree. That's a turnoff for DC, and they need to rectify that. Now, I'm used to a page or two sometimes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Of, like here's a sneak preview of Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen that you're probably not going to buy, but here's a page or two to tease it out. But not a whole fucking comic at the back end. Fuck
yeah,
you.
especially when it's like it's literally. Well, it's taking up more than half of the comic that I bought. More than half.
Yeah.
Like I like with the I'm thinking I'm kind of rewinding it back a little bit, but with like the Robin Wars, how like you'd be reading through the comic and it'll be like, oh, if you want to see what happened, like there'll be like a little side story that you can pick up and read if you want to see what happened in this one scenario. Like I think that's cool, but having content that's not even related to like what the cover is about, like what's the fuck's the point?
Yeah, it's disappointing. And don't get me wrong, I mean they have, this is another smaller critique, is that they're having there's 3 Wonder Womans right now. 3.
Yeah.
Fucking 3. We got a black one, we got a fucking Brazilian one, and then we got the Wonder Woman, the normal one. And it's just like, can you not name them something different? Like, what the fuck? Like, you can't have them all the same fucking name. Like,
it's almost kind of like what Marvel was doing with like the Incredible Hulk. It's like we had
and Hawkeye,
4 of them or so.
Yeah, just
because Marvel had 2 Hawkeyes. They had Kate and Clint at the same time, and they both called them Hawkeye.
Well, and here's the terrible part, is that the 3 Wonder Womans, they're all unique, and they're all interesting. I want to read more about them, but stop calling them all Wonder Woman. Like, for real. Like, I'm interested in Yara, the Brazilian one. I'm interested in I forget the African one's name, because I've only read one of them so far, so I'm not used to her name thus far. But she was interested as well because they all have different mythological backgrounds. Yep. And I think they need to focus on that and, like, just changing their name. It's the same issue that I had that I think Old Ninja just brought up. Is that they had multiple and Blue, that they have multiple people with the same fucking name, and it gets very confusing as a reader. And especially, listen, I'm a comic fan, and if you're confusing me as a comic fan, the new readers, they are not gonna fucking get it. If you're gonna tell a normal fan to walk in and ask for hey, can I get the next Wonder Woman comic, and then you pick it up, but it's Yara instead of Diana, like, it's totally different fucking story, totally different character. Yeah. So let's not fuck this up. Change the names.
Or for me, what always gets me, I love Barry Allen Flash. I'm not as into Kid Flash or Wally West rather, but there's definitely a Black Wally and there's definitely a redheaded ginger Wally, and they're both called Wally West. Yeah. And for whatever reason, that drives me a little nuts.
Yeah,
that shit gets confusing. Like even in the TV series Flash, Wally West. Oh no, what's Kid Flash name?
It was Black Wally.
Yeah, but they call him Wally West, but they still call him Kid Flash. They call him Kid Flash even though he wants to be called the Flash. So.
But see, how do you feel with the whole like Miles Morales Spider-Man? Because I noticed that they refer to him as Miles Spider-Man versus just call him Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I think he has a title that I think his comic, or some of his comics were just called Spider-Man, and then maybe underneath it was just Miles Morales, or Miles is on the cover. I can't remember.
The way I saw it is that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and Miles Morales is the Amazing Spider or Spectacular Spider-Man, something like that.
They've done it
Or,
in a lot of
Ulti-
different ways.
he's Ultimate Spider-Man. My fault. There it is. So
But he did that
Miles
for-
is
No,
Ultimate Spider-Man.
I can end it for you guys. It's Miles Morales Spider-Man. So here is
Okay.
one of the latest ones. It says Miles Morales Spider-Man on there.
There you go. Okay.
There you go.
But yeah,
That-
like
that
Nubia.
works.
Sorry, Cake Man actually talked about it. Nubia is the Black Wonder Woman. But the,
Oh,
but,
okay,
the,
yeah,
but the
She's
comic,
she's been around for a minute.
yeah, but the comic
Yeah,
is
she's
but the comic is
Oh,
not
go
called
ahead,
Nubia. It's called Wonder Woman. And they
Yeah.
have also the other Yara Wonder Woman who's Brazilian. And it's just like,
Mhm.
what the fuck? Like, you see how confusing this is? Like, I think this one right here, where it says Superman and Wonder Woman, like that's Diana, I'm pretty sure, on here. Oh,
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I
'cause
think
it's-
that looks like
Yeah,
Yara.
maybe-
maybe I'll be
maybe,
Yara.
or maybe not.
Yeah, I think it's Diana. But there's another one
Okay.
where it's like, Wonder Woman is, and it's, and it's Yara, and it's like, what the fuck? What are we doing here?
Comics be confusing, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say even Green Lantern. At least with Green Lantern, they do the Green Lantern Corps, and then they do Hal Jordan Green Lantern,
Yeah.
and then I think there's Green Lantern or Lanterns. Because when I was reading back in Rebirth, with the S it was Baz and Jessica, and then Hal Jordan had his own, and then there's the Green Lantern
Yeah.
Corps.
Yeah, because it was
So-
Green Lantern. They did some fucking real shady shit. They did Green Lantern and then Green Lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'm like, how fucking dare you? Like, it's called Jessica and Boz. What the fuck?
Yeah, they did a lot of weird stuff with Green Lantern, and they're obviously trying to promote Jessica Cruz. It seems like Simon Baz like fell the fuck off. I don't know where is he? Is he alive in
No
the
idea.
DC world?
I don't know.
Because
No idea.
he was kind of interesting to me at first, and now they have
At first.
Sojourner, or they call her Joe or whatever,
Yeah.
who's black female Green Lantern with different power set, and she's really interesting. I love her kind of mini series. It had 12 issues or something like that. But there's a lot of fucking Green Lanterns.
Well, now, but yeah, the weird thing is they kind of like, I don't want to say retcon, but they kind of altered the fact that she was like the first human Green Lantern before Hal Jordan, and she got
who is
sent
she?
to
Which she-
Sojourner.
Okay.
So she was before Hal Jordan, and then got sent to basically a very far sector, pun intended, and was almost never heard from in a long time. But dealing with this, political murder mystery out in the middle of the far reaches of space, I've been waiting for the trade because I'm trying to buy it, but apparently it's either sold out or not out yet, depending on who I talk to.
I don't think it's
So-
out yet, the trade, because it just I think it just ended.
finished. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I will say this: she got cakes. Like some of those drawings, I'm like, oh, that's a whole lot of fucking ass on her, and she'd be fucking and sucking.
well, let's be honest. Most comics, they draw their females with cakes almost every time. Like who can you say in the comic world don't got no cakes?
Most do have some. I'm saying there's like some like icing on that thing. Some of them, I'll show you. I'll actually have to show you in
Yeah.
some of them issues. I was like,
Yeah,
whoa.
I've been trying to buy the trade for months, and they're like, "Well, I keep hearing, they got one more issue, or they got two more issues, or they got three more issues, or the trade's coming." I'm like, "Well, what the fuck?"
Shout out to, I think it's a black female sci-fi writer, N.K. Jemisin, and I haven't read her books, but she did a knockdown, drag out, awesome job with Far Sector. It's one of the few books where comics that I'll read it to my daughter, and she's like fucking glued to the comic. She's just like, I love this shit. This is the greatest thing ever.
Well,
So-
I know that the inspiration is Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
I
see
mean-
it.
Yeah, she looks like her, just with glasses, but.
And cakes. That's what I'm saying. Ooh, she got some booty on that girl.
God dang! So
You can bounce.
I'm super excited to read that. And staying on comics a little bit. So apparently, issue number 2 of The Last Ronin will be out, I think, next week or something. And
Yeah.
the first issue was out back in and it was late because it was supposed to be out in August of 2020. Didn't come out till like November of 2020, something like that. And then now issue 2 is dropping because this is a very, very, very limited series. You're looking at 6 issues.
Golden Eggplant Award-winning Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin
with 1
like
issue.
that. It's well worth it. I can't wait. I'm gonna be there, getting it probably this weekend because it's already in my pull. That shit is gonna be fire. Because the first issue, I'm gonna have to read it again, man. That shit had me. I was like, oh, I need this adapted into like an anime series or a fucking movie or something. This is gonna be it.
Yeah,
serious Ninja Turtles.
It's gonna be hard to get. I mean, this is gonna be people. It's gonna be like Cabbage Patch Kids all over again. People fighting and clawing at each other trying to get to an issue. They're gonna be limited because when I went to Treasure Island to their new spot, and they're limiting what you can buy. They're like 1 issue per person, per visit or something,
God
or sometimes per like it's on next to the register. It's a sign, 1 issue per customer, like per day or
God damn.
like that. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Cronus, we're talking about Ninja Turtles. Last Ronin number 2 is about to drop.
Oh, I already got it.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Oh, was it today? Did it drop?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't read it yet.
A week off. Okay.
I have to wait 2 days, but yeah, I have it. I just haven't read it yet.
Okay. Yeah, well, I was talking about like the issues like some of the comic shops were dealing with, high profile comics like the High Republic was one of them. Last Ronin's another. I think there was a couple other ones where they list the name of the comic and it's like 1 issue per customer per day type thing. I was like, what the hell? Like, damn.
Can I tell you how I fucked up recently?
What happened?
Oh shit.
100% honestly. So my comic shop. Shout out to Chris from the comic shop. He's a great dude. I've been shopping at the comic shop for a long time, and they usually they'll put in comics that they think I like. Every now and again. Actually, a lot because they know what I like at the comic shop. And so one day, I picked up my pull, and I was like, oh, there's this new comic. I was like, I didn't order this, and it was Star Wars: The High Republic. And it was, I think it was number 1. I was just like, yeah, I'm not reading this. And then they were just like, oh, okay, cool, sorry, blah, blah, blah. And apparently it was worth a bunch of money and I should have read it. Because I had no idea that that was that. So, yeah, I fucked up on that one. And I think it was the same thing with number 2. And I was like, yeah, I'm not reading this. And yeah, I should have picked it up. But at the same time, they've done it other times for other comics that are actually worth money. And it was just yeah, we think you like this one. I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out. But for some reason, for that one Star Wars one, I was just like, nah, because there was, to be honest with you, there was a bunch of really shit Star Wars comics for a while. I've been reading Darth Vader and all the variants for Darth Vader. Those were really good, but there were some other ones where it was just the Alderaan shit and some other ones just you fuck all this fucking. It wasn't really well written. But apparently, the High Republic was well done. So
that's what I'm hearing.
I'm liking High Republic so far, and then the Star Wars Adventure one has a more darker start than I thought because it's supposed to be a kids comic, I guess. But it's basically the kids are the heroes, but they're dealing with basically almost genocide in the first issue.
Kids.
So I'm like, what the hell? Really quick, I wanted to change. Subjects real quick. Did y'all see that they're doing a Gremlins prequel?
Live action?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's live action because it looks CGI. Because I've seen one screenshot and it looks like a DreamWorks production.
I've vaguely heard about it, but I've been trying to get K-Mac to rewatch Gremlins for the longest time because he was like, "Oh, it's so scary." When I was a kid, I was like, "Listen." The first Gremlins was kind of scary when you were a kid. The second Gremlins was fucking hilarious. But she won't watch it. She will not watch the second Gremlins. I'm like, it is one of the funniest movies from the fucking 80s. Maybe it was in the 90s, but it was hilarious.
Yeah, so it has some interesting stars because Ming-Na Wen has been cast, BD Wong has been cast, and the legendary James Wong has been cast. And I guess they added someone else currently this week. I forget the name, but it looks like this could be an animated. It's a TV series, not a film.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, what are you guys talking about? Sorry, I just walked in.
The Gremlins like prequel.
Prequel. What
Yeah,
the
they're
hell?
doing like a prequel TV series.
Oh, I guess it
I'm
makes
down to
sense.
give it a try.
I was like, that's a lot of Asian names, but I was thinking that the Mogwai was like found in some Asian country, right? So
He was in
Exactly.
China,
Makes
so
sense,
this
yeah.
is where it. I guess this would be his adventures in China,
okay.
possibly where he was found. There's
can
not a
dig it.
whole lot of details. I was looking this up yesterday, but I was like, whoa! And then there's people. Someone on Twitter was pleading with BD Wong not to be in this project because it was too terrifying when they were a kid. When they first-
It was probably
Damn.
K-Mac. I'm just saying. Could have been her.
So
That's funny.
I'm super. I mean, I love Ming Na Wen. I love BD Wong. I'm actually super excited. I'm a little hesitant if it's animated, but I'm probably still gonna watch it because I watched the Jurassic Park animated show.
My
So,
kids, sorry to interrupt, but my kids fucking go hard for that Jurassic Park animated one. Like
Oh,
that, they love that more than anything. They stopped watching Kipo, even though we were on the final 4 or 5 episodes. And I was like, "Hey, we're not going to finish this off." They're like, "Fuck you, Dad.
No,
We're
that
watching
ain't
Jurassic
me.
Park."
yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, it does have like it is part of Netflix's
What the fuck is Blue doing?
Black Voices. I don't know what Blue's doing. I thought he was gonna share a screen.
No,
it is
I was-
part of their Black Voices because the lead character is a young black teenager.
Yeah.
So he's like the leader of the group. So
Does he
I
have
mean, it's
swagger, though?
interesting. No, he's
Swagger of
nerdy.
the
If
young
you
black
watch the
teen.
show, you know he doesn't do backflips off buildings and shit like that. He just runs around and he does like he's like a super dinosaur buff, and so like all the hot chicks are looking to him for answers, but they're not willing to sit on his face. So
What was going on with
it
you,
is
Blue?
what it is.
No, I just noticed that my camera was mirrored, and so I had to flip it over so it's correct now.
God, fuck.
Okay.
Well, it's weird because like the feed I see, it's not mirrored, but when I look at YouTube, it's mirrored, which is really weird.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
So right now
y'all-
for me it's mirrored, but now on YouTube it's correct.
Did y'all see the Cruella? I think Emma Stone had a trailer for Cruella, the
I s-
101 Dalmatians villain.
I saw the
Y'all see
pictures.
this one?
She looked pretty good as Cruella, to be honest. Like I was surprised.
I saw the thumbnail. I didn't get a chance to watch
Yeah, I didn't watch
see the
the
thing,
trailer.
but it looked like she was about to drop a goddamn album. I was like, "Who's this Cruella girl? She's about to."
She was all
Sounds like this is gonna be fire.
fuck them puppies.
Yeah, exactly. Some folks,
Throw 'em in the mill.
some folks online were like comparing it to Harley Quinn. I was like, oh boy,
So
but
how
it didn't look. It looked obviously she's wearing makeup and she has like the black and white hair or whatever. But I mean, I don't know why she fucking loves puppies like from when she was a younger woman. We always see her older, so maybe there's some good backstory here. I don't fucking know. Did you see it, old ninja?
I did. I mean, let's be honest. Disney did this shit with Maleficent. They had a origin
Oh, yeah.
story from Maleficent with 2 films
It was
with
great.
Angelina Jolie. So they're doing it again with Cruella de Vil. I mean, it literally shows her in England. She starts with her red hair, and at one point, she gets white and black hair, and it looks like she has some kind of magic or some shit because there's a scene where she makes her robe like burn up on her body.
I saw that.
And I
Yeah.
was like, "What the hell? Does she know magic now?
Maybe
What-
she's
what the
got
fuck
she's
is
got
this?"
white girl magic.
Oh,
There we
that
go.
future.
We're gonna see.
Yeah, so it looks interesting.
There's some black women listening to this. They're gonna get so mad at me right now. It's a joke. Calm the fuck down. It's all good.
Do we have any B's and B's?
Hold on.
believe so.
Let me search the Twitters. Sometimes they're on the Twitters.
You do that searching.
If
Usually
you're in the
there's some
chat,
in the chat.
yeah, if
too.
you're in the chat, once this catches up, please tell us your Ask Me in the BTI.
Good shit.
Shit, I mean, I know we're probably getting close to wrapping up, but we didn't get a chance to talk about some Attack on Titan.
What about you guys? Talk about WandaVision yet?
No,
Oh.
we've been missing that too.
Go ahead. I know y'all into it. Go ahead.
These are all like-
Well, we're 2 episodes behind, so there's
Attack
a lot
on Titans
of stuff
are-
that happened.
WandaVision.
I
Well,
didn't
did
get a chance to
everyone-
watch the most recent Attack, so we could save that. Other than the fact that I love the scene with
Oh boy.
what's it,
Black dude,
with the
yeah.
girl, the one black character I've ever seen on Attack on Titan gets asked, "Why the fuck are you black?" I fucking died.
I mean,
Oh my
this is one of the things that this is not going to translate to America very well. But listen, if you're in an Asian country, like we ain't really out there a lot, so
Yeah,
I would not
it
take
makes
offense.
sense.
Like when I was in Asia, I never felt weird or awkward when like somebody looked at me weird because I didn't assume it was racism. It's just because you didn't see me a lot. You know what I mean? Like people that look like me, so I get it. You know, but yeah, like I'll give him a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
But he
No,
gave a great answer.
I didn't get a truly bad vibe from it. I just thought it was so fucking funny because it's such a serious show when they're doing like interrogations and shit,
Yeah.
and it's like military and war and all this. It's like, motherfucker, why are you black?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Well, it's funny because like the one girl with the red scarf, isn't she like the last Japanese person?
Misaka.
Yeah, she's like the last Japanese person. I guess Homeboy is the last brother.
Well, so she's not the last Japanese person. If you watch the latest episode, you'll understand a little bit more.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, because on Paradise Island, she was like, it was her and her mom, and they were like the
Yeah.
last one. But then her mom was killed. They were saying that she was the last Japanese person.
Yeah, so she's the
And I
last
was like,
one.
what is everybody else then?
Yeah, she's definitely the last one on Paradise. So,
Hmm.
but she's not the last one on Earth, or wherever the fuck they are. But yeah, it's been the last episode actually wasn't fantastic to be honest with you, but I'll let it catch up. So.
Yeah, let it marinate. You know.
Yeah, I'm a couple episodes behind. Like I just got to the part where the kids come to the island with their Titan powers.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a few episodes behind, but
Okay.
it's crazy backstory so far.
Yeah, I mean, we still got episodes to go too. This just not going to end for at least another month and a half. So,
Mhm.
I
or
want to see
longer.
Levi going full on Levi. That's what I
Oh,
need.
so one thing I noticed that Levi is fucking hella short compared to all the kids. All
Oh,
them
yeah.
kids
Oh, yeah.
tower over his ass. I was like, what the fuck?
But honestly, though, that probably gives him an advantage with
Mhm.
Titans.
Maybe.
So no, not even maybe.
Lightweight.
Like definitely gives him an advantage against Titans because he's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
He's harder to
Fast
hit.
as fuck.
Yeah.
Ballsy ass Levi doing his shit.
What
Go
was
ahead.
crazy? The episode I saw, what's the guy's name? The guy who's the Iron Titan, or this
Raymond?
motherfucker was having like nightmares and shit of Levi fucking his ass up. Like he was waking up in a cold sweat screaming.
yeah. They went in
What was
fucking
his
around.
name?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Or was it not Archer? It wasn't Archer.
Are you talking
I
about
can't think of his
Zeke?
name.
The Beast Titan?
No, not the Beast Titan. The Armor Titan.
Reiner.
Isn't that
'Cause he-
Raymond?
Reiner.
Yeah, Rainer. Yeah, he's back on the mainland, and like he's telling stories about like his adventure on the island and shit like that. And there's like one scene where he wakes up in a fucking cold sweat, and he had dreamt about Levi climbed up his fucking arm. And I was like, holy shit.
Oh yeah, there was part when like the Jaw Titan realized that he ain't shit against humans. It's like, why aren't they afraid of me? And he's like, oh shit, they're coming to kill me. And he couldn't even move. He was so scared because he
Yeah.
saw all these people. They didn't care. They're just gonna come and kill him. So
Shit
I'm
himself,
looking forward to
basically.
like the later episodes when because we know that there's surviving Titans that are Marleyans. And I'm looking forward to seeing when Eren utilizes his founding Titan powers and the fucking badass Warhammer Titan powers. Because the Warhammer, that shit seems so OP. Like, seriously. Like, super OP.
Sure did. Yeah, defensively and offensively, I agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So hell yeah. All right, did we find a B than B, or were there none, or in the chat?
Nobody asked.
All right.
So,
Yeah, if y'all want to do your Wanda, go ahead.
no, it's not. If you haven't watched it, I don't want to spoil it. It's fine for now.
Yeah, we can wait till next week because
Yeah.
this Friday episodes are gonna be like an hour long, and I guess the next couple of episodes gonna be a couple of hours long.
Possibly.
All right, then let's wrap it
Yeah,
up.
hold on. Let me
Oh.
give some. Even though I can't talk about it a lot,
go ahead.
I basically can't say shit about it. But I will just give. I will give some hype. Okay, Invincible on Amazon is as good or better than The Boys.
God dang. And this is an animated show, correct?
It's an animated show, and I can't give any sort of details on the show because there's an embargo until the 16th of March. Okay. So yeah, it comes out at I think on March 26th or 29th or something like that. So I can't give any sort of details because I like to keep our relationship with Amazon good. But it is so far I've been very impressed with the show. No details, no spoilers. I think that anybody that listens to this podcast will be very impressed with the show. You're going to be very surprised about the show because I was. If you need to watch the entire first episode. Don't watch 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Watch the whole episode of episode number 1. If you don't, you're missing a lot of shit. So that's all I can really say. It's fucking great.
Can you say how many you have?
No, I cannot.
Okay, all right.
I cannot.
All right.
Sorry, I've watched enough. I've watched enough to know that it's fucking awesome, and I've enjoyed what I've watched so far. So yeah, I was hooked after the end of the first episode. That's the only tidbit I will give is that you need to watch the entire episode to get it.
Yeah, but I can't wait.
Yeah.
The buzz is already real online, and I'm excited.
On March 16th, I think that you're going to see a whole lot more buzz.
I wonder when does it come out?
Yeah, I think it's the 26th of March is when it releases. Let me fact check me, please. I'm pretty sure it's the 26th of March.
Oh, that's
maybe the 29th. Yeah, but I was super surprised about it, and it's you know what's kind of cool? What I realized that I missed is that it's sort of like the old DC animated universe animation. So and I can't say why the animation style is cool until the 16th because I think that'll.
Okay, man, you were doing some good job teasing, but you were dancing on your words for good reason.
I was thinking about it. I mean, yeah.
We're not gonna get Kronos in trouble, but that's a good teaser. That's a good ass teaser. I'm excited.
I mean, just when he reviewed The Boys before it came out, like he literally said the first 6 minutes of The Boys was gonna have you fucking hooked, and I watched the first 6 minutes. I was like, okay, this show needs to come out right the fuck now.
Yeah, we
saw that shit at Comic-Con. That shit was crazy.
And this is almost reversed. It's the first 6 minutes is probably not gonna hook you. It's the last 6 minutes that's gonna fucking hook you. So it comes out on March 26th. So I think on the 16th is when I can talk more about it. So look forward to that. But yeah,
what is it called again?
Invincible. And it has the voice actors. Stephen Yeun's in it. J.K. Simmons is in it. It's got a really good cast of voices. The animation style is really good. The content is really good, and shit, I can't really talk more about it. But yeah, on the 16th, I'll talk more about it.
Hell yeah! All right, guys, let's wrap it up.
One quick thing, I'm not sure anybody mentioned this, but God, what's the girl's name? The girl who's gonna be playing Cruella de Vil. She's actually not the first person player in live action. It was actually Glenn Close. I forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the original live action Dalmatian movie. But yeah.
But this is like a younger version of her, I think.
Yeah, this is her backstory.
I like Emma Stone. She's a sexy little thing.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit! I'm sorry. I'm looking at the fucking cast list for Invincible, and oh my god, this is a who's who. There's a lot of folks in this.
Oh shit!
I remember the trailer.
You know, it's crazy. So Bloody Disgusting already sort of hinted at some of this already.
Dude, I'm fucking hyped.
All right. So so since Bloody Disgusting posted this, and I don't.
Who is that?
I'm not gonna get in trouble because Bloody Disgusting is a website. So on January 22nd, they posted this. All right. So it is extremely violent. So I didn't want to give that up, but since other news outlets have said it, it's extremely violent. So don't watch it with the kids at all. You might watch the first 75% of the episode of the first one. You're like, oh, this is so wholesome. The last bit is extreme violence, the boys' level of violence. So. I don't want people to like sit down there and watch it with your kids. So definitely don't watch it with your kids because I'm watching like a frame of like one of the things that I saw here. Can I put it on the screen? Yeah, I can because it's on the internet. That's That's like a small portion of the extreme violence of what's on Invincible, and
I can't wait.
It's pretty insane. So, yeah, definitely enjoy it when it comes out.
Hell
Dude,
yeah.
look at this cast list. You got Sandra Oh, Seth Rogen, Zazie Beetz, Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
They got
Walton
my girl
Goggins.
Zazie? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Domino?
Michael Dorn. Zachary Quinto, who I haven't seen in forever. Clancy Brown. It like goes on and on. Lauren Cohan. So they're reunited in this. That's awesome.
Ezra Miller's in this too.
God damn.
Oh,
Is it really?
Now my dick is soft.
Ah.
All right, let's wrap it up, guys. Blue, what you got popping this week?
Just counting down the days until Baby Blue comes. Trying to be as prepared as we can. Trying to get stuff situated. What else is there to do? Get the house ready. I got to do more yard work. I think last weekend it rained, so I wasn't able to do anything. But I got to work on the front yard. Yeah. Then that. Oh, I flew by drone for the first time in like fucking 2 years. Like flying a drone is just so fucking complicated with like the rules and regulations and stuff like that. But I took it out. I was like, I need to fly it, and I tried to see if because Cronus lived pretty close to me. I was like, I wonder if I could fly to his house from here. But I was only able to get like maybe 400 feet from my house, and Cronus is about a mile. Like there's an actual app I was able to use to measure the distance from my house to his house, and he's like 1.2 miles away from me. Like if you go in a straight line.
Yeah, as the crow flies.
Yeah, my drone was only to go 1/3 of that, so I wasn't gonna make it. But yeah, other than that, just chilling, catching up on some stuff, cleaning, getting ready for the baby to come, and watching my wife get a little bigger and bigger every day.
Congrats again, man. And she's feeling all right.
Yeah, she's feeling good. She's chill. She's taking her maternity leave on Friday, so she's gonna be off for a while, but she's super excited about because she's done with work.
Congratulations, man. Old Ninja, what you got?
So I gotta freaking take care of some legal stuff. I mean, nothing that I did, but I got selected for jury duty, so I gotta like report in person or something stupid.
The fuck? Oh, they know it's a pandemic.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna tell them that I support Rush Limbaugh, and they'll probably
they'll probably put you on the fucking thing.
hopefully they don't put me on the jury, but yeah, I gotta figure out this jury thing, so I gotta drive to courthouse sometime tomorrow and see what happens. So I'm gonna see. Hopefully, I'm not part of the 12. I don't know how big the poll is, but I need to be there and whatnot. So we'll see what's up with that. I've been watching Warrior. It's freaking excellent show. I'm on the second season now. I'm almost halfway through.
Nice.
I actually got back because in like about a month we're about to get the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. So I actually put in Mass Effect 3, and the multiplayer servers are still up. So I was playing some matches with folks. Got all my stats and equipment all back, and just playing it. It's weird because the game came out in 2012, but yet the multiplayer feels better than the Andromeda multiplayer. So
wow,
it's because Andromeda is fucking trash.
Yeah, it's super disappointing. I'm like, there's a lot of things they could have done with the Andromeda multiplayer. It doesn't feel as complete. Like, even though Mass Effect 3's controls are a little on the sluggish side, just a little, compared to Andromeda's like molasses. Mass Effect 3 is still challenging. It's still fun. There's a lot more stuff that you can do, I feel like, in that multiplayer than the Andromeda one. So it's just kind of sad, but there's still enough people playing. So it's been interesting. I've been helping a friend out in Destiny 2 in their new season, so I'm probably going to do a little bit of that. And I guess some people are trying to do some Call of Duty and some raiding this weekend. We will see who's going to be down, who's going to survive, and all that stuff. So that's it.
Good shit. Kronos, what you got?
I don't know. Not a lot. It's fucking Groundhog's Day, man. I mean, seriously, every goddamn day is basically the same as the last. Listen, I will leave my time with the folks that are living in the South that are impacted by this terrible cold snap, mostly Texas, because that's what I've seen in the news, mostly, and from my friends. Give me, my friends in Texas that have lost their power and their water. I'm sorry this happened to you. I hope you survive. I hope you stay warm through these troublesome times. And I hope that your local government learns from this, just like the same way that I hope that, our California local government learns from PG&E and their failures. And like, really, PG&E is like our local energy company. It's a monopoly. So you have the same issue in Texas. So yeah, I hope you all stay safe and fucking let's learn from these mistakes and move forward for for humanity's sake. So that's all I got. Just some hope, and also fuck Rush Limbaugh. Just saying.
Well said. For me, yeah, hearts goes out to fucking Texas. I want everybody to be healthy and survive. God damn it. It's actually really tense and like heartbreaking seeing some of that stuff. Obviously, prosecute and charge everybody who's attacking elderly Asian people.
Yeah.
And then on the weeb side, I'm going to be. I need to catch up. I'm a few episodes behind on the sadistic redo of Healer. And I'm at the very end of Dressrosa on One Piece, still working my way through that. I do want to get down on some Star Wars Squadron and Rainbow Six Siege, maybe with Stitch, and then even some what's it called, Call of Duty. I did pick up Cold War. It should be here like a Friday or Saturday. So we'll see about that, and then hopefully my guardian angel on Twitter, my boy Ivy, comes through, and maybe I'll be in the year 3000 with magical Japanese bidets and maybe even one of those fancy Sony machines coming soon. Hopefully, that's all I got. Old Ninja, take us out.
All right, you just experienced Black and Black Times Infinity.
Infinity.
Thank this podcast on the internet. Check us out anywhere and everywhere with Beats and BTI. That's BTHANBTI. Anywhere you can listen to the podcast: SoundCloud, Stitcher, Play FM, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Radio Republic. On Amazon, we have an app on there. Download it, let you know when we go live. You can watch us live on there. Check out our official website, binheadproductions.com/BTI. And then also we're on Discord. Go on there, see some exclusive stuff, be a part of the discussion. And then always, as usual, every Wednesday, 8:30 Pacific time, we go live for your weekly dankness. Check us out.
Astolfo's dick was literally bigger than that monster can. That was a disturbing. Like I wasn't expecting that on Twitter.
Don't lie. You were excited. You fapped. You fapped hard.